Sports 2015 Survivor Series review. I am the huge one, Dave Koco from KocoSports.com or KocoSports.net. It's where the world comes to kick ass, your home for combat sports, and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Plus, we've just launched the new ProWrestling.me, so please go check it out. We're trying to make a social media site of all the best YouTubers, podcasters, and wrestling fans in the universe. And we are joined by Rassslin Rantin from Rassslin Rantin, LK from LK Reviews and LK VIP section on ProWrestling.me. And gentlemen, before we go win, loss, or tie, I just want to say something serious. The reason I used to cover news a lot, I was talking about Rassslin Rantin with this pre-show. I used to cover news a lot, and the thing that I love about pro wrestling is that it's an escape. Even if you thought the pay-per-view was win, loss, or tie, it's just a place to escape. It's a place to have fun. That's why on ProWrestling.me we want a social media thing about just pro wrestling. But sometimes real news events affect pro wrestling. And now, I don't know if ISIS really threatened them. I don't know if Anonymous really got it. I don't know the situation. But there was a lot of headlines about an attack on Atlanta during Survivor Series. And I will critique the hell out of WWE for a lot of things, but I want to give them credit just because if you follow the news, stuff like this would have canceled other events. There's been, big video game conferences canceled for less. So even though it most likely was just false information, the fact that they still went on with the show, I have to give them props. And that's probably the last we'll say something positive about WWE tonight. I don't know, but a lot of events probably wouldn't have happened. And just WWE, hey, they mess up a lot of things, but they are definitely brave. And I don't know how legit the threats were, but still, the show went on. So congratulations on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm throwing away my cell phone because I'm an unprofessional bastard. That would definitely get you fired in real news. But now let's focus on WWE Survivor Series. I don't know if there's anything nice after saying you were brave. Win, loss, or tie. Rassslin Rantin, you have a bedtime, so we're going to start with you. Rassslin Rantin, what did you overthink of Survivor Series? Win, loss, or tie?
Oh, God, this is a loss of losses of losses. It's just... I've almost lost for words at how terrible this was. It's probably the worst show of the evening. Just bad.
All right. LK from ProWrestling.me, LK VIP section.
I'm going to be honest. This may get me some extreme heel heat, but apart from some poor booking decisions, I actually enjoyed this show. I thought the wrestling was generally enjoyable. I may be on one too many monsters right now. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. But I enjoyed it. For what it's worth, I enjoyed it. I thought most of the matches were good. The crowd were just absolutely garbage. Like, literally insulting. They were quiet. They were dead. Like, for instance, during the women's match, which we'll talk about, that was a good match. Like, if you just listen to it, because I had a couple of friends around, so we were talking, so we didn't really listen to the commentary or the crowd noise. So I was just watching the wrestling, and the wrestling was generally really good. So I'm going to give it a strong tie, not a win, because booking was poor as normal, but the talents worked hard, and I enjoyed it.
Overall, I don't know. Like, everything I predicted horribly happened. And I don't know, it's not like I can't say I didn't see it coming. So overall, okay, you give it a win?
Strong. I'll give it a tie. I'm not that generous. I'm not that generous.
See, I don't know. I called my shot. I felt like the Larry Bird Michael Jordan commercial. Where they have the basketball. Okay, I hope I'm going to show my age here. Larry Bird and Michael Jordan used to be the LeBron James and Kobe Bryant of my day. And they had a McDonald's commercial where they just called shots, and it got ridiculous. It was kind of funny. I feel like I was part of that commercial. Like, I called almost everything. And I was just like, why? Maybe I should start thinking more positively. I don't know. I'm going to give it a weak tie. And the reason I can't give it a loss, I don't know. Maybe I'm just worn down. Maybe I'm losing street cred. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't think it was that bad. It definitely wasn't good, but, like, Like, it sucks because I actually felt like I wrote the script. I was like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then it happens. You're like, well, they did what I was said was going to happen. All right.
This is bad when I'm more positive than you on the show.
Yeah, it is. It is. Wrestling Rantin, write down the date. Wrestling Rantin. There was a lot of horrible things about this show, and it could have been worse. I don't know. Like, I think WWE is wearing me down. Like, that's how I review Monday Night Raw. That's how I review pay-per-views. I'm like, it could have been worse. It really could have. I don't know. I find it to be ridiculous. I'm giving it a weak tie, but I'm sure this is what happens. I always start off the show as positive as I can be, and by the end of the show, LK knows this. I'm like, it's a fucking loss. Fuck this company. Like, that's how it starts off. Like, I start off the show and be like, it wasn't that bad, because I have short-term memory problems, but then I'll read what happened, and by the end of the show, I'll be like, all right, I was wrong. Everything was fucking horrible. The crowd did seem to be out of it, especially as soon as the New Day left. As soon as, like, the crowd was into it, and then the New Day just left. We'll get into that, but they left, and, like, everyone's like, you know what? We're fucking done. We're done. Like, they checked out. Like, when the New Day went in the back, so did all the fans cheering. And
you got to know, for newer fans, because some of us are old heads, but, man, Atlanta was, before WCW territory, Atlanta was Crockett territory, and if you go back to the Crockett territory, 85, 86, 87, 88, all that time period, any show in Atlanta at the Omni was crazy. I mean, it's like Full Sail with 10,000 people, and to see what it is now, that this is an Atlanta crowd, Hot Atlanta, as they used to call it.
Yeah, the Hot Atlanta used to be the thing, and not only that, but even WCW days was amazing. I mean, just the crowd reaction. Matter of fact, you know, it's a big controversy in Atlanta, but the Goldberg-Hogan title swap happened in Atlanta, and the crowd was completely hot for that. It was weird seeing Atlanta, famous for WCW, famous for Crockett, famous for crazy crowds, just kind of check out. It was like, did WCW fans and NWA fans, did they just get too old and checked out? Sadly, probably yes. But it felt weird, because at one time, Atlanta was up there with Chicago and Philadelphia and Madison Square Garden as far as crowds being ruckus, and they checked out with the New Day. Like, they're like, oh, New Day's going on, I'm leaving too. All right, so overall, I give it a weak tie. LK gives it a strong tie, and I'm pretty sure by the time we break this down, we'll all be as negative as Wrestling Rantin, who gives it a huge loss. Sorry about YouTube not doing comments. Wrestling Rantin will try to teach me how to do live chat. It's not us. YouTube decided to do it. We love live comments, even if you're like, you're absolutely disgusting. It's a true story. But I guess the best way to reach us would be at Twitter, at KocoSports, at KOCO Sports. And we apologize. So if you could tweet us win, loss, or tie, and we'll try to figure out a better system to do comments. It just sucks that YouTube and Google are having such an ugly divorce. All right, gentlemen, you ready to break this bad boy down?
Yep.
All right. So I know you guys have. We all live in different time zones. I live in Japan, so it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. LK lives in the UK, so who knows what time it is.
10 plus 4 a.m.
And Wrestling Rantin lives on the East Coast of America. So if you guys get too tired, please check out and plug your stuff. All right, so we start with the pre-show, and we had 2 traditional Survivor Series matches, which I think were unadvertised to the best of my knowledge. And I don't know, they weren't the best of matches, but it made me feel like a kid again. I was like, oh, I remember going to my cousin's house on Thanksgiving to watch Survivor Series. I remember the teams. So it was kind of cool. The first one was The Miz, Bo Dallas, Stardust, Connor, and Victor. And then you got Neville, the Dudley Boys, Titus O'Neil, Florida Gator, and Goldust. And Goldust got a huge, huge pop. Maybe pop of the night minus Undertaker. People were really excited to see Goldust. I enjoyed this match. I don't think there's here's the thing with WWE, and I'll ask a question when you guys review it too. Do you think we only like it because of tradition? Because when you go to break it down, you're like, maybe it wasn't that good of a match. But like as an old guy, you're like, I remember these. This is amazing. But then when you start breaking it down, you're like, nothing really happened. Like, it wasn't that special. It wasn't that great. But overall, I enjoyed it. The Dudleys, Titus O'Neil, and Goldust are your sole survivors. Which, by the way, does that make sense?
No.
They're always... Yeah, I thought so, because I thought Sole Survivor was like one dude. They're like Sole Survivors, and I'm like, yeah, all right, they're the Lone Rangers. All right, so we got the Dudley Boys, Titus O'Neil, and Goldust. I thought they gave it plenty of time, considering it was a pre-show match. I thought they were going to zip right through this. There was a commercial in the middle, which, like, what the fuck, man? Come on. But I guess it's a little understandable. It is on free YouTube and stuff. But overall, I enjoyed it. It brought back great memories. And I don't know. Rassslin Rantin, what was your thoughts on the pre-show match?
As opposed to you, I've never really been a big fan of the Survivor Series anyway. I mean, the 87 one, I mean, you go back and look at that one, nothing really happens on that show, period. I was much more of a fan in 91 when they started introducing matches, like the Undertaker-Hogan match, which they mentioned tonight. But they're fine for, what they are, elimination tag team matches. I thought it was okay. Good to see Goldust back. Of course, he's going to get a big pop on his return. So I don't know if they're going to do anything with him. I mean, they've got their hands full anyway. They don't know what to do with the guys they have now. So, I don't know if they need another person to add to their storylines that they can't write. So it was a decent match. I enjoyed it.
Okay, your thoughts on the pre-show?
Didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I'm going to be honest. I was at work till the show started 1 a.m. here UK time. I was at work till 12:30. Then by the time I walked home, picked some guys up, and then we came back here just in time for the Survivor Series to start. So I do apologise if.
Okay. If you didn't represent all of KocoSports in the UK, we would be fired. And if I didn't know you watched the pre-show, I would have went to Rassslin Rantin and we would have fucking did a practical joke, said it was the greatest match of all time, match of the night. So you would go back and watch it.
I'm going to go back and watch it because I'm going to do a solo one for VIPs on tomorrow. So I'll go back and watch it. But was it enjoyable? It didn't sound that great.
It was okay.
I think for memories, yeah, it was okay. Pre-show, memories. I mean, it's not... I don't know. I guess enjoyable okay, if that's a word. Yeah. I mean, if you could use solo survivors, I could say enjoyable okay.
Look, okay, you're getting your NXT London TakeOver tickets revoked for not watching a pre-show, man.
No, that's not happening. Those tickets were damn quick. Literally, I was there because, in Ticketmaster, the way it works is that you have to, when you want a select seat, it says, sorry, there's no tickets available. I was there like, oh my fucking God, I'm losing my mind. And then my friend sends me a text saying, oh yeah, did you know he was coming as well? So I'm like, oh fuck, I got tickets, but I have to go back now to get 3. And I'm like, oh my God, and I finally got them after about 20 minutes. But no, that sold out really quick, and that's obviously great news for NXT, and I'm looking forward to the show. Joe Bader's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, when it comes to tickets, holy fuck you. And this is what I mean. I went to WrestleMania 24, and I had access to front row seats for 2 people. Like, I could have been front row. You could have seen me on the DVD. Like, you see my friends on DVD that offered me the tickets. But I went to WrestleMania with 4 people. And I was like, fuck, do I leave 2 people in the shitty seats? And I did the right thing as a friend, and I regret it every day since. They're not even good friends. Like, as time went on, like, I'm not even in contact with them. And fuck, man.
So you put them over like Dolph did Tyler Breeze tonight, huh?
Exactly. TNA at the Tokyo, at the hall. I did the opposite. I was like, I'm going to sit ringside. Here's tickets around the building. Like, I didn't even fuck around. I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. And I'm going to Wrestle Kingdom this year with a couple friends, so hopefully that should be fun. All right.
Lucky foreigners with your lucky tickets to Wrestle Kingdom and NXT TakeOver. What do I get tickets to? The next Raw at Baltimore Arena? The fuck is this shit?
Well, you can always check out. You can always break the attendance record in Dallas, sir.
No, I will not contribute to that.
All right, so the actual show starts, and you got Roman Reigns versus Albert Del Rio. There's a part of me that's like, oh, thank God, we know who's going to win. Let's just get this out of the way. This is where bad booking comes to haunt a match. To me, this could have been a 77-star match. But the whole time, I was like, Roman Reigns is going to win. I could be fucking sleeping right now. I woke up to watch fucking Roman Reigns and Albert Del Rio. I'm sorry, let's use his birth name. Zombie no fucking soul Del Rio. I'm like, holy shit. It was just bad. It was just, I don't know. It was just like, let's be completely honest. If you didn't watch this live, let's take a poll right now. We got 3 people, 3 different continents. You're representing your country or continent. Ready? Asia reporting in. If this wasn't live, I would fast forward it. America, if this wasn't live, would you fast forward it?
I was cooking a steak during this match, so no. Yeah.
Okay, you were probably still at work.
No, I was hoping for this.
Well, I mean, would you? That's the thing. Like, all right, Del Rio's not the man he used to be a month ago because he has no soul. But besides Del Rio not having a soul, this could have been a 27-star match. Meltzer could have went crazy. We knew the fucking winner. Like, here's the thing. Okay, let's say there was a small percentage. I think I gave it 12 or 8% that Roman Reigns doesn't walk out with the title. Obviously not counting Sheamus because that's different, but winning the tournament. Now let's just talk tournament stats. I gave him like 12 to 8% chance. Was there anyone in the fucking universe that thought Del Rio was going to be the one to fucking beat Roman Reigns? Was there anyone? Like, Twitter me now, at KocoSports. I was the guy. I was the guy who thought Del Rio. It was just like, come on. I'm just glad they got the match out of the way for the first one. I don't know. I got nothing, man. I mean, let's talk storylines. Triple H was backstage watching. Dude, fuck you. Hot tag. Rassslin Rantin. I'm starting to want to know why you gave it a loss. See, I didn't even go that far. The pre-show. Maybe I was too hyped up for the fucking pre-show. I was like, oh, give it a tie. It wasn't that bad. And then I have to actually sit down and review, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It was fucking horrible. I'm sorry. I was trying to fucking be a more positive person. I was trying to find some goddamn inner peace. I was wrong. Fucking Roman Reigns versus Albert Del Rio. Zombie Del Sol fucking sucked balls. Rassslin Rantin, hot tag. What do you have to say about the opening match? The fast forward special.
After I was done cooking my steak, I caught the last bit of the match, and the part where Del Rio had Reigns in the corner in the tree of woe, and he was going to do that double stomp on him. I thought that was okay, and he avoided it. I liked the psychology of Del Rio pretending his knee was hurt, and then pulling that whole little thing on Reigns and kicking him. That was pretty good. The rest of the match was kind of paint by numbers because, again, like Dave said, we knew he was going to win, so we were just waiting for the spear. So that's all you were doing for the whole match is, okay, when's the spear? When's the spear? There's the spear.
Is the fact that Bertie, sorry, called him Bertie, but 3 years ago Sheamus called him Bertie, and it's just stuck with me, and that's what me and my friends call him.
Don't worry, he doesn't have a soul. You can call Del Rio anything. Just call him a bag of shit. It doesn't matter. Look at him. He sold out. He went from mega champion to bag of fucking shit. Look at him.
He was working Reigns' right arm. Reigns hit the spear with the right arm, and it was literally 5 seconds after, because Bertie did the arm break on the ropes. Reigns was screaming like a young dinosaur, absolute imbecile, and then Reigns Del Rio gets back in the ring, spear. Like, didn't sell the arm after hitting it, just goes in the spear and celebrates like nothing matters. That's fucking disgraceful. That's filth. It doesn't take 6 seconds to hold your arm after hitting the spear. Come on. Fucking hell. They're meant to be the best of the best. What was that, sorry?
No, sorry. Just something on my computer made a noise. All right. No.
Skip it. Next match.
Next. All right. Somewhere, I don't know where this happens, but this is the line of the century. I normally don't live tweet that much. I normally just like reblog other people's live tweets because I'm lazy. I'm like, that's what I think. Thanks, Rassslin Rantin. Reblog. But I had to actually live tweet something, and it was the quote. I don't know if it's before the match or after the match, but we'll just hit it now since we're Roman Reigns bashing. I think the quote was, "Tonight is not about love and hugs." I was like, dude, you know what? That is the greatest fucking wrestling promo ever. Tonight's not about love and hugs. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if that happened now or after. What does it really matter? Next, Internet Dream Match. You had Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. You know, this is just my original thinking, you know, and it's not that big a deal, but I kind of wish this match was before Roman Reigns, because I was happy we got the Roman Reigns match out of the way. But when Roman Reigns beat that zombie that used to be fucking Del Rio, you kind of knew Kevin Owens was going to lose, because you're like, oh, they're going to be world champs. He beat the U.S. champ. Now you got to beat the Intercontinental champ. I think if this match was on first, A, it would have probably been a lot more exciting, and B, I think it would have made this a bit more mysterious, because I think a lot of people thought Dean Ambrose was going to go to the finals. But when Roman Reigns beat, you know, that zombie, it was kind of like, oh, of course Dean Ambrose is going to win. Where I think you wouldn't have had that mindset if Owens and Ambrose was first. So that's just a little nitpicking. Overall, I think when it comes to Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose, and a couple of these other guys, I think, like, in your head, you're always picturing they're going to put on their best matches ever, and they always kind of under-deliver. Like, if you watch Dean Ambrose back in his indie days, and you watched Kevin Owens back in his indie days, and even a little bit of his NXT days, you're picturing that's what they're going to do at the pay-per-views. And I think if you've been a fan of these guys for a long time, wrestling the WWE style kind of will always let you down. You know, because like a lot of people pick on Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose, especially only people that watch WWE. They're like, oh, they're overrated. I'd be like, shut your fucking mouth. Go watch him versus, you know, El Generico. But I don't know. Do you think it's being a fan of these guys for such a long time that when they do a WWE style match, it's kind of a letdown? Or am I reaching here? Rassslin Rantin?
I don't think it's a I think it's a letdown because, honestly, they don't want anybody to outshine tonight's Golden Boy. So, I mean, Owens and Ambrose can't have a 5-star match following Reigns because it'll show them up. So, you know, they're pacing themselves. And plus, it's not an important match anyway for either one of them. I'd rather see a feud with them and let them go, you know, toe-to-toe on that one. And just the fact that this last week, you know, Neville and Kevin Owens had a tremendous match, in my opinion, on Raw. Where, you know, Neville pulled out the reverse Hurricane Karana and all that kind of stuff. So it depends sometimes on what show it is and what probably the backstage people are telling them to do. You know, they say, you know, go out there, but don't, you know, don't go too far. You know, you guys got 20 minutes to do what you need to do and get the match over.
Yeah, and I just want to say something. How crazy quick is Neville? Like, sometimes you forget because he wrestles in WWE, and then you see him, and you're just like, man, I want to go back to the Indies. You know what I mean? Can you imagine Neville and Dragon Gate now? You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Like, I watched tonight, and I was like, holy fuck! I just forgot how quick that motherfucker is. Like, you know, tonight Cody Rhodes like didn't even have time to sell. Like, he was just like bam, 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 you know. So yeah, it was a great match. What were your thoughts on Owens Dean? Okay.
Okay. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I didn't. I hated how Owens hit big move, then Dean Ambrose just hits one big move and it's over. That kind of like undersold his offense a bit, which I wasn't a fan of. But I enjoyed the match a lot. I do agree with what you said about obviously because of Owens' Ring of Honor and NXT time. I didn't watch Ambrose and ZZW because I don't watch ZZW because I like professional wrestling, not backyard filth. Shot, CCW fans.
But I think he's wrestled in FIP and WWN type organizations too. I could be wrong. I'm almost positive he has. He's wrestled outside of Combat Zone too.
Yeah, I just picture him in ZZW, so I just have a disdain and hatred for him. Like anyone who's wrestled for I know Kevin Owens wrestled for ZZW as well, from what I can gather. But Ambrose is like a proper ZZW.
Bring it to a big Japan event and just sit you front row, and then just let you hug some of these hardcore wrestlers. And be like, it's gonna be okay. Let the hate go. Let the hate go.
One of the worst experiences of my life. Some ZZW guys called Connor Claxton. Okay, I brought him on the show to do a deathmatch rant on him. He was like, "Yeah, bring it on." I go, "Yeah, hardcore wrestling's bullshit. It's filthy. No psychology, nothing." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake! You gotta be freaking kidding me." He's like, "I know." I'm like, "Fuck, you gotta be freaking kidding me." I'm there like, this is it. This is the moment I've lived my whole life for. Get to bash ZZW to a ZZW talent. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. And then he's like, "Yeah, I agree." I'm like, "Fuck's sake." Absolutely disgraceful. But anyway, Owens Ambrose was a good match. Probably, I could say match of the night. Could be, potentially, depending on your opinion. And I was really rooting for Owens. I wanted him to win the tournament. I did a preview of the Survivor Series, and I said I wanted Owens to win. I wanted Owens to beat Ambrose. Owens take Ambrose out of a powerbomb on the apron. Then in the main event, Owens and Reigns. Ambrose come out, go to hit Owens with a chair. Owens moves out the way, and he hits Reigns. And then you can obviously have Owens win. Then you can have Reigns versus Ambrose. And then Owens versus, maybe a Cesaro or a guy from NXT. I don't know.
Can you imagine Owens beats Cena, then beats Dean Ambrose, then beats... That's a lot. That's a lot to give to someone that's not a golden boy yet.
Yeah, this is the thing that's kind of wrong. This is the thing that's kind of wrong with the booking tonight, because given how, and you guys will talk about it later, but given how the story ended, how the show ended, if they were just going to have a clean win at the end of the show, then why not have it Owens versus Roman Reigns? The whole point, when we get to, I guess I might not be on here because I got to tap out early, but the whole point in my opinion, of having Reigns versus Ambrose was to set up for there to be a conflict between these two. There was none. So why not just have Owens go up in the main event and then at least give him some sort of a push and some sort of a bump? That's why I said the show is a big loss, because everything they possibly could have done wrong to build up their stars, they did. Nobody got elevated tonight. The way they booked this entire show, nobody got elevated. Not to mention who wound up being the world champion, who's a guy who hasn't won a match in 6 months. But anyway, back to you, Dave.
Now we're just going to hit some comments before we do the Survivor Series match. You can hit up live comments at KocoSports. At Trillex Dubstep says, "Man, I wish you guys took callers. Maybe in the future." I also thought about giving a link away after doing reviews so people can join us, but probably people would abuse that, but we'll figure out something. At Bernalis Game says, "Seriously, 5 minutes after the build-up and the promos?" Rage Against PG says, "And now we cry." At Wrestling Rantin, he got his thing in early on Twitter. "Before you ask, a loss. A big loss." Bernalis Game agrees with you. This is worse than a loss. Wyatt is fucking done. Yeah, I even busted your balls about Bray Wyatt. Are you taking away your backing for him as president?
Actually, you gave me the backing. You co-signed me on that one, and I actually tweeted tonight that the storyline presented tonight in no way reflects the reviews of Rassslin Rantin or any of his advertisers, so I do not take any claim or credit for that bullshit that happened tonight.
All right, Rage Against PG says Triple H hates Roman Reigns, right? So it only makes sense for Roman Reigns to have a huge-ass celebration. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. Sometimes you have to let yourself go, but sometimes WWE they make a lot of mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the harder it is to let go in the fantasy world. At Wrestling Rantin says the whole roster is done. We'll get to that later. I'm done watching WWE. It's been a fun 14 years, but this show honestly sucks ass. Still gonna watch the reviews though. We watch because we watch, so you don't have to. Wrestling Rantin, when you hear he's been a fan for 14 years, how old does that make you feel?
It makes me feel ancient. And I have to keep in mind, and here's a weird thing about it I've discovered this week. I sometimes forget that some people have been fans for 10 years, 14 years, which is a long time, but they did not grow up with Monday Night Wars, with Crockett, any of that. They don't know anything before it was only WWE, which is really
holy shit, dude, you're right. Dude, we're fucking old. I was like 14 years. Monday Night Wars, that was like 6 years ago.
Nope. It's been,
holy shit, we're old.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you feel old. I was brought up on Benoit and Angle and Benoit and Jericho. That's Regal Jericho. That's what I was brought up on, and I didn't experience WCW. I got into it. Obviously, I was about 5, 6, just as WWE bought WCW. So it was kind of like 2002, 2001. I wish I was.
So everyone that was older than you was like, "This is fucking horrible," and you're like, "I don't get it. It's good. I like it."
I know, and that's old school, and LK is old school now, and which is crazy because like he didn't have AWA, World Class, UWF, any of that stuff. That was not in it wasn't even his purview to see another wrestling company besides the WWE have 25,000 people at a show. So we're old.
All right. Bernales Game says, not to mention you just buried two of your top babyfaces of the company, not named John Cena. At Russalot, R-U-S-A Lot, says, loss, predicted outcome, and a ton of filler. Losing more and more interest in WWE every time I watch. And at OSCINO_fly says, I give it a weak win. I'm glad Dean versus Roman was in the finals, but we all knew it was going to happen. Hashtag predictable WWE. And at CM Booth 27 says, give it a slight tie, only because Sheamus saved us from Reigns. Otherwise, it was boring, slow, and no upside in the future. All right, keep the live comments coming. For live comments, hit us up on Twitter at KocoSports or on Facebook, KocoSports, or somehow. 2 Facebook comments, and we're going to break it, and then we're going to break down more of the pay-per-view. Andy Paps, I told you guys Survivor Series was going to suck. I know, Andy Paps. I thought it was going to be good. I was wrong. All right? I was the guy, I don't know if you watched my preview show, but I was like, it has to be good, right? I was wrong. You were right. You're good-looking. I'm not so much. My team captain is the world champion at bittersweet victory, LOL. Pay-per-view was a huge loss. Nothing was great, too predictable. And Franielli says, like Rantin said, everything that could have gone wrong storytelling-wise went wrong. I give it a loss, although the Brothers of Destruction match was my guilty pleasure. All right, so there you go. All right, we'll be getting back to more live comments. Keep them coming. We're sorry YouTube fucked people. Oh, we got Bullet Club Biggs on Google+. Remember Google+? Remember Bullet Club Biggs? Bullet Club Biggs is like the king of Google+. What's crack-a-lackin', everybody? I understand where you're coming from about ADR, but I guess he'd rather be a WWE US champion with a high pay grade than AAA Mega Champ in Mexico. Yeah, it's just, he sold out. He sold out, and he doesn't feel good about it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. All right, let's go back to breaking down. Another traditional Survivor Series match. Me being an old guy, loved it, but I don't know if it's as exciting as the memories. You got Ryback, the Lucha Dragons, the Usos. How far has the Usos dropped? The Usos used to be the cat's meow. Then you have New Day, Sheamus, and King Barrett. It's a pretty entertaining match, and the fans love New Day. People have different things. It's a horrible gimmick. It's 3 great athletes. The athletes put their all into this horrible gimmick, and it's over. And it seems like, halfway through the match, Big E gets pinned, right? Or was he hurt? I think he gets pinned. And the New Day all leave together. And it just leaves Sheamus out there by himself. And that moment, the crowd, left with New Day. They just didn't give a fuck. Prior to this, because a lot of people were making, fun of Atlanta, making, inappropriate ISIS jokes. Maybe I'm a little too old for that. But it's just the crowd died. And it just didn't seem that interesting. The Soul Survivors are Jimmy Uso, Kalisto, and Ryback. I enjoyed it for memory purposes alone. But it seems like New Day was the life of Atlanta, and once New Day left, they died. Because there was no chance or no excitement until Undertaker. And it sucks because how crazy is this? The men killed the crowd for the women. Did you ever think you would be saying that in WWE? Not if you're old and sexist, but but it happened. Rassslin Rantin, what did you think of the second traditional Survivor Series match? This one on pay-per-view.
See, here's the thing again about those traditional Survivor Series matches is that in the older days, even go back to the first one, Honky Tonk Man, there was a focus of the match. So Honky Tonk had his team, but everybody on the other team, Jake Roberts, Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man were all gunning for Honky Tonk Man, so there was kind of a point to it. This one was kind of just like a thrown together match. Well, these guys aren't doing anything, so yeah, put them in a match. A waste of time. However, they could have salvaged it, and they didn't. Because the storyline of the New Day, by the way, Dave, if I have to explain more hip-hop to you on Twitter.
You do. I'm glad you tweet me, because I almost know nothing about music, and I know even less about hip-hop. Like, I listen to the same, all right, judge me, call me a nerd, but on my iPod is nothing but audiobooks. That's it. That's all that's on my iPod. So I know nothing about music. Matter of fact, I did not know what Justin Bieber music was until one day in class I had to teach it. Like, people were like, oh, tell us about this Justin Bieber song. I was like, oh, is that the guy who gets made fun of online? Like, I never heard any of his music. So Rassslin Rantin, who keeps up with music and hip-hop, every time there's a reference, he tweets me. He's like, Dave, this means that. And I feel so old. I'm like, oh, I see. I understand.
You used to go and I would see you in reviews and be like, I guess that's a reference to something. So I'm like, just so you know what it is. It's a 2 Chainz song, 2 Chainz, who's actually old now. But anyway, so they made that reference in there. They made lots of references to Atlanta. What is this coonery? I can say that, you guys can't. What is this coonery with Xavier?
Write down the rules. Got it. All right. Go on, sir.
What was with the Al Sharpton hair? See, this is the stuff that makes me just laugh out loud at the New Day. He actually went and had his hair processed. Oh, my God. And funny enough, it looks like a unicorn mane when it was all fluffed out at the end of it. But here's where they missed in this match. Because if they were going to do the storyline where the New Day leaves and Sheamus is by himself, given what the ending was, this should have been when Sheamus laid waste to all 3 other guys on that team, so when he won later on, it'd actually be kind of credible, because, we've seen him waste, he's credible champion, we've seen him waste 3 guys on the show, but he didn't waste all 3 guys on the show, he lost. And then they dragged it out for another 5 minutes, which was pointless. So, yeah, this match, not a big fan of it, wasted opportunities. New Day was fun, and that was about it.
But Rollins lost at Mania 2. If you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton at WrestleMania, then cashed in. I always have to get that line in there. I feel proud about myself.
The longer you try to get that line in, it makes less and less sense. I'm like, so, gentlemen, did you watch the hockey game? And then, okay, but like, if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up. Okay, besides your love of Randy Orton, what did you think of the match?
I agree with Wrestling Rantin there. That every good Survivor Series match has to have that big feud centered around it. If you haven't got the big feud there, what's the point of doing it? It's just 5 guys wrestling 5 guys for the sake of wrestling.
What is this, a New Japan first half of the pay-per-view?
Yeah, fucking hell. Let's send David Finlay and Jay White in there, yeah? Jesus Christ. Like, it's just... Imagine it back in, like, 2003 or 2002. Just 5 guys wrestling 5 guys, no storyline, nothing on the line, just going out there wrestling. The crowd would have shat on it. And this was... I just didn't care. Like, I just didn't care. It was just, yeah, okay, let's go boil the kettle, let's get another beer. Get that sort of thing. It was just, why? Why have it on? Firstly, I don't want to see Ryback ever again. I can't stand that bloke. Big E needs to stop doing that suicide dive, because it really is a suicide dive. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I just don't care. And it's not good enough. When people pay for this, when they pay $54.99, you sad American toilets, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. What company just chucks 5 wrestlers to rest 5 wrestlers? It's just not good enough. It's not.
The biggest company in the world.
It's always the first half, though. In New Japan's defense, it's always the first half.
And it's always Jushin Thunder Liger. So, Jushin Liger needs his payday. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, like, you're just used to it. You're like, yep, 5-on-5 match, Liger, Tiger Mask, and others. You got to get Liger and Tiger Mask on the card. All right. Overall, I feel bad. I feel like everyone's like, this is horrible. Like, I feel like we're reviewing a Michael Bay movie, and the 2 reviewers are like, this is horrible, and I'm like, explosions! Explosions! I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, there's no story. It was horrible booking, but you know what? I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, at least it was 5-on-5. Back in my day, that's all the matches were.
Yeah, but again, my biggest gripe is that given what happened later in the night, then it makes it even worse that they didn't use this opportunity to build up Sheamus. It was a perfect opportunity to do it.
No, I totally agree with that one. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. On to the women's match. The women's match, not too bad. Crowd was not giving a fuck. One thing Wrestling Rantin did mention on Twitter is that they edited out the dead brother aspect of the storyline, which was the smart thing to do, I guess. The classy thing to do, the right thing to do. And you got Paige versus Charlotte. And these two women, you know, Paige, I'm up and down on. Some days I'm like, Paige is the greatest human being to walk the planet Earth. And some days I'm like, Paige, don't even look at me. We can't be in the same room, you fucking dirty whore. So, like, I have an up and down relationship with Paige. I don't think she thinks about me too often, but and Charlotte, I absolutely think she's the Kurt Angle of the women's division. I think she just caught it on quick. So I enjoyed this match. These women busted their ass. They did a nice spot on the a couple nice spots on the outside, but one where it was right on the side of the ring, and one where they used the barrier, and it ends with Charlotte, you know, putting on the figure 8, and Paige does tap out. I thought this was a really, really good WWE women's match. You cannot tell by the audience. That audience checked the fuck out. They acted like it was a Del Rio Roman Reigns match. They checked out. I enjoyed it a lot, but I wish the live audience enjoyed it more. Just because, I don't know, I know Mick Foley's a fucking piece of shit, but most of the time, audience does matter. Like, if it's an average match, if people are totally into it, that's why, like, there's an England promotion. I don't know if they're that good, but their fans are so rabid and they try so hard that, like, you get into it. I think it's the IWC.
ICW.
Is it ICW? I apologize.
Yeah, and it's Scottish, don't you ever? Scottish. Scottish. Right. I repeat, it's Scottish.
Whoa, I got to write a lot of rules. I can't say this. Now I can't call Scottish part of England. Did I just pull a racist? Yeah. So I just wish the crowd was into it more. Unlike Mick Foley, I think the crowd being into it matters. Like, New Japan had this event for a legend retiring, and the fans were so into it. Even though the matches weren't that great, it felt more. You know, I grew up. What kept me a fan? I didn't grow up, but what kept me a fan when it was like time for girls and growing out of wrestling was ECW, and I just think fan participation helps out a lot. I know, like, a lot of people like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In some ways, it does matter. You want to have fun. You want to. You know, you don't want to be in that room where you're like, yeah, that was awesome, and someone just looks like, it was okay. You're like, dude, let yourself go. And that's one thing I hated about being in the business. You aren't supposed to be a fan. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking done in the business. I'm going to be a fan. Fuck you guys. But I don't know. I thought it was a great match. Just have to pick on Atlanta a little bit on this one. We'll start with LK this time since I offended him. LK, I apologize that I don't know all your states. Pardon me.
It's just a freaking country. It's a country.
I know. I'm just poking the bear. All right, LK, what did you think of the women's match?
I enjoyed it, and just to get your point on, imagine watching PWG with no crowd there. It wouldn't be the same, would it? It would not be the same. The crowd there are electric. They're amazing. They add to the atmosphere. The crowd, the wrestlers feed off them, and I think that's just what you said is so true. And the match itself, I did enjoy it. I liked the barricade spot, like you said. I just wish the crowd were more into it. I really, really do. I mean, this was like a 2.5, 2-star, 3-star match. Add a crowd in there. I think you could bump it up to 3.5, 4, but it wasn't. The crowd, why could a wrestling show to be quiet? I couldn't imagine. I've never been to a wrestling show and the crowd are dead. Never. And I've been to SmackDown tapings. They've never been dead. Like, literally,
yeah, but you're from England. You guys are all excited. Try being from Tampa. Tampa people, they don't even pay attention to what's going on in the ring. You go to an event in Tampa, like, especially the closer you live, maybe like, you know, the cheap seats, you'll have some diehard fans, but if you sit ringside, Oh, who's the cake eater? Thank you. They don't give a fuck. That like you could just hear. I'm like, oh my! Like I remember one time it was Diamond Dallas Page was stalking Undertaker and he unmasked. Like it was me, a friend, and 2 other guys on the other side of the ring. That's like, oh my God, it's Diamond Dallas Page. The rest of the audience is like, do you think we should leave early? Do you think we should get to the nightclub? Do you think, you know? And it's just like, all right, Tampa, bad on you, bad Tampa, bad Tampa. Rassslin Rantin, your thoughts on the women match?
I thought it was a good match. It wasn't the greatest match. They're still not hitting NXT quality, in my opinion, with the main roster matches. But on the whole thing about crowd reaction, it doesn't necessarily mean either that it's just everybody cheering and going wild all the time. Because like mid-'90s, when I was first introduced to New Japan, the whole difference was when we watched it, the WCW Super Show, was that the crowds there were different, but they reacted to things in the match. They weren't just cheering for the sake of cheering, but they did cheer and respond when they were supposed to. In this match in particular, and I pointed this out on Twitter, there's one spot where Paige is, they're doing something in the corner, and Charlotte switches Paige's legs between the ropes like Sasha Banks when she does her double knees in the corner, but instead of doing that, she then turns it very quickly into a neck breaker, and I'm like, holy shit, what a spot, and then the crowd is like, cricket, cricket. I'm like, you're not even cheering spots, and this is the ultimate problem with 10 years of people being WWE only fans and being miseducated to why you enjoy what you're watching. I was talking to, I can mention Joe Cronin, but we were talking on Twitter, and it's like...
How dare you, Joe? No, I'm just kidding.
It was the equivalent of watching a very good football game, but the crowd at the stadium is just sitting on their hands because they don't understand football. They just think it's a bunch of guys running back and forth hitting each other. That's what it was like watching this match.
So it's like Ravens fans. Oh, I'll be here all night. Go on.
We don't even have a team. Our quarterback and our running back and our... Now I'm not going to talk about them. They got injured today. I have no team anymore. So,
the Buccaneers whooped that fucking Philadelphia ass. Take that, ECW. All right, go on. We got a topic. Go Bucs.
You got lucky. But yeah, the match was decent, and this is again this is a big pet peeve of mine. I've been talking about this online for the last couple of weeks. When you've gotten to this point where you have miseducated the casual fans, or somebody had a good name for them earlier. I forgot what it was, but they don't understand what it is about what they're watching to be entertained by it. So when you do put on matches that's not what they see all the time, they just go, oh, okay. They don't care. They're not invested in the characters. They don't know what wrestling is. They just know spots and entrances. So when you get a good match like this, they're dead. It's terrible. It really, I don't know if anything can be done to fix that, outside of it being like the old school days where, the older fans pass down to the younger fans. This is why this is good. This is how ring psychology works. This is what makes Steamboat Savage a good match. This is what makes Doink the Clown versus the Giant Gonzalez a terrible match. We don't have that in the casual fans today, and because they don't understand that, unfortunately,
I think there's one guy who can change that, or a guy like the idea of that guy. You need a Daniel Bryan that the casual fans love but can wrestle. And not a Daniel Bryan versus Kane. You need a Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro, because then, you slowly but surely educate them. And it's just the way it is. I know that, but people have quick entertainment. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that won't watch the show because it's long. And we're like, oh, it's just like radio. It's like a podcast. I'm like, no. I just want to know results. They're like, you can read that. No. I want you to read it to me. Okay.
Yeah, but another thing with that, it's also in the announcing and how today, like I grew up on Gordon Soley and old school Jim Ross and even Tony Schiavone, but they would explain when the guy's in a headlock, why that guy's in a headlock and what he's trying to do, what he's trying to accomplish. They don't tell that, and they haven't been telling that for years. And you have fans like the one guy who says he's been a fan for 14 years. If he's only watched WWE, he has no idea what the hell it is. He has no idea what half of these moves are called. So that's why they don't understand what a match is and why it's entertaining. It'd be like watching football and people not explaining to you why a 3rd and 4 is better than a 3rd and 10. If you don't know that, then they're just running with the ball. That's the problem with the company.
Well, I live in Tokyo, so I understand the American football reference too well. Um, but a lot of it is too. I think WWE, anything that WWE will do to fix it, they just fire them. Look at the guys that do a good job. They're gone. Matt Stryker, they pretty much fired him. Joey Styles, they're like, just do the website. So they've had their opportunities to be a good product. They just choose not to. I mean, I think even JBL at times tries to be a real, broadcaster of pro wrestling, and they always shut him up. And granted, does JBL say some stuff that doesn't make sense? Of course. But at least he's attempting to try. You know what I mean? He's trying to be a wrestling broadcaster.
Well, it doesn't help when he gets it wrong because he called Moolah, because he mentioned my town, because, yes, Fabulous Moolah started her multi-decade title reign in Baltimore. I wasn't alive then, so that's how long ago that was. But he called her a diva, and then Mae Young. Oh. And this is the only time I will ever credit Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler automatically got on and said, I don't think Moolah was a diva. And I was like, thank you, Jerry Lawler, because Moolah would probably slap the shit out of JBL.
Yeah. King's commentary tonight was just atrocious, wasn't it known? If I have to hear one more time going, shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. Honestly, get him out. He made Booker T's noises sound good. Do any of you pick up on that on SmackDown when he goes after a spine buster or something? Fuck off. Come on.
I honestly treat Jerry Lawler the same way I treat a drunk uncle. And the reason I say that is he is going to be annoying 99.9% of the time. But that 1% that he's going to be funny will be fucking hilarious. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, all right, he'll tell 80 bad jokes, but that one joke will make me giggle. And that's what I feel. I feel like he's a drunk uncle. And anyone that has a lot of alcoholics in their family will know what that feeling. It's just like, yeah, there's Uncle. I got to make up a name because I have too many uncles that are really alcoholics. There's Uncle Gator. And oh, yeah. So there you go. All right. So let's talk about the next match. You got Tyler Breeze versus Dolph Ziggler. I was super excited for this match. I was like, fuck yeah. Dolph Ziggler's going to put a little pep in his step. Tyler Breeze is going to show the world why he's great. Oh, my God. This is going to be a classic. This is going to... it's over? It's... What? It's over? Yeah, Dolph Ziggler, a part of him has died. He's not as much of a zombie as Del Rio, but he definitely just It's so funny because you can just see by the performances, pre-selling out, post-selling out, how much they try and don't try. It's kind of like, and I'm sure everyone's done this. If you have a job that has contracts, and you're like, oh, man, when this contract's over, I'm going to really start living my life. And you get excited, you have pep in your step, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do the best job I can because I'm fucking out of here. And then at the last second, you get scared and you sign with the company again, and then you're just like, holy fuck, what did I do? I'm here for another 4 years? That's what Dolph Ziggler's going through right now. I was expecting a lot from this match, and no. Dolph Ziggler
obviously won.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler, he sold out. He lost the pep in his step, and Tyler Breeze is like, it's great to be on the big stage. And Ziggler's like, I like you, kid. You don't even know how bad it's gonna suck. Here, let me just lay down for you. And Tyler Breeze is like, yeah. He's like, poor kid doesn't know what he's getting himself into. But Tyler Breeze does win. I was expecting more, and, it started off slow and then just ended. It was like, oh, it's a slow build. No, it's just over. Okay. I see. Good day, gentlemen. Good day. I think this was probably the biggest letdown of the night. I think this was a bigger letdown than the main event. I really do. Just because I was expecting it to be good. The main event, I was expecting what they delivered. The main event was a pile of shit, and when they delivered a pile of shit, you're like, well, that's what I expected. Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler was like the best pizza in town, and they delivered you Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? It's just like, All right. All right. I'm going to go with biggest letdown of the night. Tyler Breeze does get the victory. We'll start with Rassslin Rantin. Rassslin Rantin, what did you think of this match?
Number one, I'm not surprised that they've changed the supermodel kick and given him the unprettier as the finisher. Makes sense, but I like the supermodel kick a little bit better. This is kind of like a bootleg version of Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho when they first got together, because they're in that Ziggler and Tyler Breeze are in that Shawn Michaels-esque kind of line of wrestlers, and they just so underperformed it. But keep this in mind, since the tournament started, they've completely done nothing with this feud for the last 2 weeks. Like, one sat in the ringside while the other one was wrestling. They did a couple of run-ins, but there was nothing there. And for a match like this with these two kind of competitors who are very similar, I would have liked to see them kind of really focus on the athleticism and having Dolph Ziggler being Ziggler's like 36, and have him be kind of the old guard and talk about his performances. And Tyler Breeze come in and talk about, well, yeah, but I'm the new breed, I'm the new young lion, and sell it on that angle. But they never got to that at all with the storyline. And as Dave says, Ziggler, he's phoning it in now. How sad is it that exactly a year ago he earned himself a main event spot with that performance at Survivor Series last year that saved that show, was one of the best matches of last year, was an amazing, amazing performance, and a year later he's doing this. And kudos to him for doing what, I hate to say his name because he's not even on the show, so I don't like mentioning him, John Cena. Thanks for doing what John Cena won't do in putting over a younger star. But I feel bad for Ziggler, man. It's just where he's come from since last year, when I thought, like, man, he's finally gotten their main event status, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, and just one thing, I was a little shocked, just to add to Rassslin Rantin here, that the announce team actually compared him to HBK. I was like, wow, that might be good for Tyler Breeze if the announce team is considering him to be HBK.
Yeah, they're all on that line, because it's just the cute blonde, smaller, fast, quick wrestlers, the Jeff Hardys, all those guys. They all follow in the next Shawn Michaels thing.
For the record, can we? You have rules. I can't say certain words. I just want to make a new rule here for the channel. We can never compare Jeff Hardy to HBK ever again. Can we just make that an official rule? Can we make that a rule? Like, a part of me died inside when you said that. Come on.
Well, that's what they were looking at him as when he first went singles. They were looking at him as being that guy. But, nobody is going to be another HBK. There's never going to be another Jeff Hardy. So.
Well, one of those things I'm very happy about. The other I'm sad about. LK, your views on Dolph Ziggler retiring?
I enjoyed the match, and there was one time they had this really nice exchange of roll-ups. It really worked hard. I even said it out loud, they're fucking working hard, and they got a standing ovation from 6 people. People legit were like, good stuff. I'm like, if that was in UK, that would have got a standing ovation. Everyone would have got up there, they'd have got a standing ovation, they'd have got a "this is awesome" chant. But I tell you what, I hated this crowd so much, it made me appreciate Full Sail University crowd. That's how much I hated them. It was just...
Dear Mick Foley, fuck off. Love, Dave. Go on.
All right, Mick Foley, Mark, calm down.
Dude, listen. Can I just say something? Can I get it out of the way? I thought about doing a separate podcast about this. Never fucking read your hero's tweets. Mick Foley. If it was Dave Bautista, I wouldn't even be mad. If it was John Cena, I wouldn't be mad. If it was Randy Orton, I wouldn't be mad. But Mick Foley is upset about the crowd. Fuck you, you tubby fuck. You would be nothing. You are literally me without the fucking audience. If you have no audience, you are fucking me, you fat tubby fuck.
Yeah, but the crowd were fucking awful. I understand where he's coming from. You're at a wrestling show.
Fuck you and fuck Mick Foley. You're on the fucking fuck you Mick Foley list. I can't believe him out of all people. Fuck relive all. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane. It's like you eventually start hanging out with the cool kids and you think you're cool. No, Mick Foley, you're not. Fuck you. And I love you, Mick Foley, But sometimes you have to go to someone you love, fucking grab him by the shirt and scream "fuck you" at him. You know, my wife had to do it to me last night. But still, the point is, you don't fuck you, Mick Foley. That's the point. Dear Mick Foley, fuck you, love Mick Foley fan. There you go. LK, what were you saying before I went on my fucking...
If the crowd sucked, I agree with the LK too.
Yeah, and it's just like any other place, like a respectful place would have given it a standing ovation. It's just, it's poor. Like, the effort they put in was outrageous. I remember just randomly shouting, "They're working hard." Like, you can see in their work ethic that they really were working hard. I did enjoy this. If the crowd were into it a bit more, maybe I enjoyed it. Also, commentators did a good job of putting over, like, what a big deal it was for Breeze to get the win. And I think that was kind of nice of them because it kind of made Ziggler give that bit more oomph on the loss. But in the end of the day, like we said on the preview, Dave, it doesn't matter. Whoever loses really loses in the big title picture, because Breeze, he's going to do what? He's going to lose to the next guy. That's what's going to happen. He'll probably lose to Cena. Why not? Whereas Ziggler, what's he going to do now? He just lost to Breeze. Does Ziggler want revenge? No, he's a babyface. Why would he want revenge? And the feud helped Breeze, fucked Ziggler. They had to go in one direction. They clearly chose Breeze. Ziggler, what are you doing there, my friend? You need to get yourself out of there while you can. I don't care how much money you have to... If I was Ziggler, I would fucking inject as much shit in my self as I can, steroid-wise. I'll then get fired from there, and I can go to Japan.
Well, okay. Two things. Do you think that Ziggler is in kind of what the RVD Chris Jericho role now, where he's just there to put over younger talent? And number two, do you think, I personally think that Charlotte and Paige and Ziggler and Breeze, at some point in their matches, because of the crowd, they just said, fuck this, and just phoned it home for
the second one's a huge possibility. Yes. As far as your first comment, the problem with comparing with RVD and Jericho, they did stuff. Like Ziggler is basically had the Chris Jericho RVD career minus doing stuff. Like, they had the, wow, these guys are amazing, they should be champs. Oh, now that their championship is over, they should be putting people over. The problem with Ziggler is he never had the middle glory. He was like, oh, one day you're going to be awesome, just like Jericho and RVD. Awesome? Let's just skip that. Put people over. So that's the difference.
That one match last year, that was his awesome, and ever since then, is putting other people over.
That is the shortest version of awesome ever. That's like walking into the room and be like, that's what it's like to be awesome, and then walk out. That's like the highlight of his career. He had that moment. Moment.
Okay, is that what you do? You think that's a possibility that that's where Ziggler's at, and that they just phoned it in when the crowd was so dead?
Oh hell, you could tell after where they really worked hard in the sequence. It was like a 2-minute sequence, and they just got. I think they were just like, fuck this, let's just finish this now. It was just, I feel so sorry for them. I really, really do. They really worked hard, and as much as we bash the writers, in the end of the day, the talents really do work hard, and they did, and I felt so bad. The crowd were disrespectful pieces of shit. Don't go to I don't care if you hate me out there. If you do not make any noise at a wrestling show, don't go, because you ruin the entertainment for everyone else, you pieces of shit. There we go.
I thought you were going to say don't go to Atlanta, because I was like, Atlanta has Dave and Buster's. Anywhere that Florida has Dave and Buster's, that's a stop on my tour, except Jacksonville, Florida.
Maybe they were just missing Randy Orton. I wouldn't blame them if they were. You know, it might have just been missing Randy Orton.
Well, I think again, it's just they don't know pro wrestling, so they don't know that when that happens, that it's customary to applaud and go and let the performers know that you appreciate their work. They don't know that because they don't appreciate the work because they don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to go through some live comments right now on Google+. Full-blown C-word. I love the New Day, but damn, this is almost over the line. So there you go. On Twitter, let's see. Give it a... all right, okay, I think we already read this one. At Powerplay, at David Stillwell 16. Look up TeamSpeak on Google. It may be a good way to take calling into the show. Just an idea. All right, yeah, because I'd love to take calls, especially at the end. Like, I would love to do the news, then the calls. I'm too distracted. And at Osenio_Fly says, I've seen at Booker T give ring psychology on SmackDown here and there, but it's here and there. He's great at describing moves. Yeah, I know that, but he also runs his own little, I guess, feeder league, indie league. So there you go. Franielli says, "I'm not sorry to say this. I agree with LK." Well, first off, you better be sorry. No, if you were to oh my God, if you were to rebuild the World Wrestling Entertainment from the ground up, you would have Orton at the top. Again, I don't want to say I hate you all. I just want to think it very loudly. Ricardo, much love, giving us likes, and everyone else who gave us likes on Facebook. YouTube, sorry there's not the live comments, but we'll work on it. We're 21-2. That's not too bad. 21 likes, 2 losses. And I Am Mikey on Google Plus Chat says, the event was pretty overhyped. All the Survivor Series events had this special feeling to them, similar to the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I think back in the day, I think Survivor Series hasn't felt that special, because it's usually the older fans that think it feels special. The younger fans are like, it's just Survivor Series. Why are you getting so pumped up? It's kind of like with the Great American Bash. I bought the Great American Bash off the name alone. This was so lackluster. Even the classic Survivor Series match went from a headliner to the pre-show. Funny, everyone going to clown Reigns taking the loss, yet they swerve as Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. Laughed my ass off. All right, so he's calling his shot. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right, sir. You know what it is? I just wish they put, you know, I don't know where you stand on Roman Reigns, but you can all agree that they're putting all their effort into Roman Reigns. I just wish, I don't even hate Roman Reigns, I just hate the fact that, why can't they put all their effort into the full product? Well, like, why does it have to be, we're going to put all our effort into this one guy? He's got to get over no matter what. If you put all your effort into the product, A, it would help your one guy a hell of a lot more than, and not only that, but you would have more than one guy that you can rely on. It's just one thing that bugs me a lot, why they focus on one guy all the time. And I know it worked with Hulk Hogan. I know you lie and say it worked with Cena, but it didn't. It just didn't. If I can stop lying to yourself. And now you want to do it with Roman Reigns. And not only that, but Bruno. We got to give Bruno credit. Bruno, they put all their chips on Bruno, and it worked. It worked with Hogan, even though I'm not a Hogan fan.
Most money-making period ever. What was their highest-grossing period ever? The Attitude Era.
Yeah,
that was not.
Era.
That was
and
not
one. Multiple stars.
Multiple stars. It was Stone Cold for a year. I mean, really think about it. Stone Cold's run at the top was really 97 through most of 98. He was hurt, and then everybody else kind of chimed in. That was their most successful period. So.
It's simple. It's simple. How many writers did they have back there? There was 2. You had Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara, and then Vince at the top. How many have you got now? About 30. It says it all. You would think, though, they hire the best writers on the planet to write this. Okay, you got 30 of them. 30. Back in the day, you had 2. Yet when there was 2 writers, it's better than when they have 30. That doesn't make any logical sense.
Well, here's the thing. I would love, you know, like I don't really like interviewing people. But I'd love to interview a writer that's been there the longest but never had anything on television. Because I just want to be like, hey, what is it like to be a writer but have nothing? Because you know there's a writer that slipped through the cracks. None of his ideas have made it. Because when you have 30 writers, someone's slipping through the cracks. There is this guy, probably named Bob. He literally just writes words on a paper. None of his ideas get shot, but he just keeps a low profile so no one fires him. He's like, Bob, you've worked here 7 years. What segment did you write? That's the thing. That's the thing. None of my segments have made it. And that's what happens when you have 30 writers. There's, you know, but knowing WWE, there's probably like 7 Bobs or 20 Bobs. They just sit there like, sir, that's a great idea. Bob, when's the last time you came up with an idea? All right, let's break down Undertaker. All right, next you have the longest entrance in entrance history. You got Kane and The Undertaker versus Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt, but it made all of the look horrible. The whole Wyatt family looked bad. And this is a get-out-of-jail-free card. For the record, I got to make a confession. I am not a big Undertaker fan. I hate Kane, and I'm not a big Undertaker fan, but I respect Undertaker. Like, I'm not a fan of John Cena, but I don't respect him. I'm not a fan of Undertaker, but at least I respect him. This was so fucking horrible. All they could bank on was, look, it's The Undertaker. Like, that's it. Like, people were excited. People were happy. The storyline was horrible. The match was horrible. The entrance was 76 hours. Someone on Twitter, and I apologize, I'm stealing someone's joke on Twitter, said the 25th anniversary Undertaker, he'll make it to the ring by the time it's the 26th anniversary. The entrance is amazing. I'm just not that big of a fan of that stuff, but I know other people are. But this reminded me of a Family Guy joke. Lois is running for president, and she's losing, and she just starts saying 9/11, and people cheer. This is the WWE version of this. You're like, what are you going to do to make the Wyatts look strong? The Undertaker! What are you going to do to make the match good? The Undertaker! Survivor Series isn't that good. What do you... The Undertaker! It's just like, that's it. I respect the hell of The Undertaker. I'm glad he's got fans. I'm glad people enjoy that style of entertainment. It's not my cup of tea. But, you know, Wrestling Rantin, we do bust balls about Bray Wyatt looking like Shiznit. Have you joined the dark side? And
well, I remember this. I forgot to get on your ass about this shit.
Really? You're going to defend Bray Wyatt after tonight. You're not going to wait another week. You're not going to wait for another time. This is the time you're going to strike.
It's not about defending Bray Wyatt, but I mean, let's not exaggerate shit a little bit here. I mean, you can't dismiss the fact that the guy did win a bunch of. I've heard the little comments. Well, you can't count this feud and that 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 feud. You only count the ones that I want to count, which are the ones that he loses.
All right. Well, first off, you can't. Okay, you can list off your list, but you're not counting Jericho and Dan and Bryan.
You can't say you can't count something because you don't want to count it. That doesn't make any sense.
No, because it's not a real feud. It's like it would be like counting Barry Horowitz as a victory. I love myself some Barry Horowitz, I assure you, but no one gives a shit. All right, but this is the ultimate in boxing. In boxing and MMA, they're called cans. Sometimes we say tomato cans if you want to be a little frisky. These guys ain't even tomato cans. They're not even tomato cans. They're like the little tiny lid. They're tomato can lids. They're not even a full can. They're already laying down. All right, go on, Wrestling Rantin. Defend Bray Wyatt after tonight. Timing absolutely horrible, sir.
Yeah. You want to move that goal line a little bit further? I don't think you've moved it further and far enough.
No. That's not fair. To say I moved the goal line means I care. I don't even let the motherfucker in the stadium.
If this feud don't count because I don't want to count them because I want to say he sucks, then that's moving the goal line.
All right. Listen. Moving the goal line means I care. I don't even let the motherfucker in the stadium. I'd be like, security, Bray Wyatt's here. Good day, sir. I'm not even moving the goal line. I'm not even letting him play. I'm like, no. Be like, show me where the goal line is. About that. The goal line's in the stadium, and you're not allowed in. All right, anyway, our Bray Wyatt disagreements aside, how horrible was tonight? Can we at least agree on tonight was horrible?
The only thing we agree on is tonight was bad, and tonight was bad from the get-up. I mean, if you're going to have an Undertaker, I understand, and we all should understand, this is a celebration of 25 years of The Undertaker. I am a huge Undertaker fan. I only have about 5 or 6 guys that have ever been my guy. Undertaker's one of the 6. From very early on, Undertaker, he was my favorite wrestler. I thought the entrance was sick. I loved it. I loved the whole thing with the coffin and all the different, the 20 faces of Taker in the coffin. I thought that was pretty badass, and they even got the American Badass in there.
Now that's the Undertaker I love. I don't care. You can write your letters. You can tweet me. I love badass Undertaker. There, I said it.
Big Evil, when he went under the Big Evil thing when SmackDown in 2003-04, I was a huge fan of that. When in the Buried Alive with Vince McMahon at the 03 Survivor Series, I was a huge fan of that. And all right, Matthew of Botchamania on Twitter put the greatest tweet I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
After this match exclusively, WWE, if you're under 40, you ain't shit. The best line I've ever seen in my life.
That is pretty good.
That's very true. But the match itself was nothing. We expected nothing of it. But if you're gonna do this, just give him a throwaway character. Again, the thing with the bad booking, if you're trying to build up the Wyatt family. This would have been awesome if you had built up the Wyatt family beating the shit out of Undertaker and Kane for the last 3 weeks. Then we would have been like, okay, this at least we still know Taker's going to win, but at least it's going to be an interesting match. The visual of it with the characters of the Wyatt family versus the characters of the Brothers of Destruction, that's like a comic book like mashup. It's something that should be in like a Marvel or DC movie or something. The visual is great. But for wrestling, pro wrestling, it not so much. Doesn't work out that well because we already know that one character is going to win over the other one because the other character's been weak. He's got four. There are 4 guys in the Wyatt family. They didn't.
You know who they should have did this too? I just thought about this. The Ascension. The Ascension's getting buried anyway. What if I mean, do you think if it's the Ascension, they're cutting promos about Undertaker being too old, it fits their characters, and then bam, you got yourself a match. I don't think, and you don't hurt the Wyatts.
Exactly. I think that would have been the best thing to do. They bitch about tag teams. JBL likes burying them anyway. Feed them the Ascension. Don't feed them the Wyatt family. And this tonight, more so than other things before, I think this has really damaged the Wyatt family because before it was Bray Wyatt losing a feud to one guy. This is the entire Wyatt family as a force being completely decimated. So they're not even on the level of like the DOA at this point in time as far as factions of all time. The Wyatt family looks like one of the weakest factions ever.
Okay, your thoughts on Undertaker? Just shut up.
I love the guy. If you don't respect the Undertaker, you're just an absolute freaking moron. Like everyone respects the Undertaker, no matter how much you may dislike him, no matter how much you think he doesn't put people over. It's the Undertaker. Like I loved his entrance. As Rassslin Rantin would say, I paraphrase, it was sick. I can't believe he came out with that. I can't believe it was a very good entrance. I did like it. And as much as we shit on WWE for their writing, their production quality is absolutely out of this world. It's world class. Always has been. Always will be. But as the match itself, Strowman looked weak. Harper looked weak. Wyatt looked weak. Rowan looked extra weak. He got double chokeslam. Then you didn't see him for another 15 minutes. Like, who in their right mind thinks, okay, we're going to take 2 guys over the age of 45, we're going to have them destroy our future. How about that? Who comes up with that? Like, do you really think that was a good idea? Like, in my mind, I honestly think Vince is there, like, that was a fucking good showing. Bray Wyatt will be fine. He was in the ring with The Undertaker, damn it. What more rub do you want? It's like, no, come on. How difficult would it have been to Bray Wyatt to pin Kane? Like, as much as I love Kane and respect Kane, no one gave a shit about Kane. Like, for instance, I think he realizes it to the point when Taker got the standing ovation, Kane just left the ring. He was just like,
yeah, well, it's Taker's night, though, so yeah.
All the time, though, when Taker was with Kane, did you ever hear, Kane, Kane, Kane? No,
nobody gives a shit about Kane. It's the Brothers of Destruction together.
Yeah, it's just, I don't care.
Well, I imagine just Undertaker's like, no, fucking help me out. You know what I mean? Like, I just think.
But if they had spent a lot of time building up the Wyatt, if they had spent, say, the last 6 months having the Wyatt family destroying the entire roster, then this would have worked. But the main reason this doesn't work is because the Wyatt family has not been established that yet. Braun Strowman, but he really hasn't done anything. So when you have this mega monolithic entity of the Brothers of Destruction and the Wyatt family, you know, I can see in their minds what they thought they were going to do with this, what they thought it was, but it didn't translate because, again, it's the problem with everything with WWE. They haven't built up their characters. They haven't, and it doesn't work.
Simple as this. What you're trying to summarize is they present you with things, they don't promote anything. That's the eulogy I tend to use. Like, they present you, they'll give you Taker, he can beat Bray Wyatt because I'm not going to promote Bray Wyatt. I'm not going to give him what he deserves. And it drives me insane. Like, who would think, okay, we're going to write down, okay, for Monday Night Raw, imagine the buzz of a Bray Wyatt defeats The Undertaker. Or a Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family destroy the Brothers of Destruction. Will there be a Brothers of Destruction ever again? That's going to get people talking. It's going to get people to watch Raw. Same as the main event. Like, I thought the main event, there should have been a swerve or at least something on there to get people the hook to get you to watch Raw. What from that show made you want to watch Raw tomorrow night? Nothing.
Absolutely.
That's why no one watches Raw. And it's simple as that. It's if I'm booking this show, Vince Russo on VinceRussoBrand.com made the greatest point. When I'm booking a pay-per-view, I'm booking it as how is that going to make you want to watch Raw the next night, because that's all that matters, because advertisers pay WWE depending on how many viewers they get. The less viewers they get, the less money they get. The more people that watch Raw, more money they're going to get from advertisers, and the more network subscriptions that they're going to get. It's simple as that. So everyone who says TV ratings doesn't mean bullshit, you're a liar. As simple as that. Period.
You're only going to get me 50-50 on the Vince Russo thing, though, because while Russo has some points, he exaggerates sometimes. And he wants to go back to 5-minute matches. I'm not a big fan of that.
That's bullshit. I'm a huge fan of Evolve, and he hates that. Like, some of the stuff you take with him was a pinch of salt. And some of his points are so true.
And a lot of times when it comes to these guys, TNA has a creative team, and I noticed when you're podcasting, you really put on, you say what people want to hear, and then when you're in charge, you're like, they don't know anything, so it's like a different way of thinking, too. So a lot of times he's probably like, oh, let me just say stuff that will make sense, and then when he's actually in charge, he won't do that. So,
well, he lost me when he was. There's some video he had where he was talking about. He was with Ric Flair, ironically enough, and he was talking about how the boys need the creative. That it's fine when you have big stars like a Steve Austin or a Rock or a Dusty Rhodes or a Ric Flair, but they need a writer to write something for them to say. I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't write shit for Dusty Rhodes. You didn't write the Hard Times promo. What the fuck are you talking about? That's where he lost me there.
Yeah.
Sorry for my Russo man.
No problem. We'll go to some live comments, and then we'll go down to the main event. Let's see. Bullet Club Biggs is dominating Google+. If you want a live comment, please go to Google+. I apologize for not putting it on YouTube. Like I said, it's a YouTube thing. Google+, Twitter @KocoSports, or Facebook KocoSports, so you can check it out. As far as the person on social media that said Sheamus saved fans from Roman Reigns, blow it out your ass. Now, I guess Bullet Club Biggs is it's that bratty sparkiness that makes wrestling fans look like clowns. I just think different people are going to have different opinions. I understand wanting everyone to get a shot, but hating someone ain't going to make their favorite wrestler's push happen any quicker. Maybe. I don't know. Because you got to think. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. It's just because they can pipe in crowd noise. They can edit stuff. They go to a new city and start over. I don't think the fans have as much power as they think they do. But if they get together and ruin a show and cheer for the same guy over and over and over again, that's how you could change it. But WWE does a great job of defending stuff like that. #Go Bucks. I agree with that. Go Bucks. Woohoo! Bullet Club Big says, wrestlers that need to retire already. Undertaker, Nagata, I'll get back to you on the rest. WWE is not doing the Wyatt family any favors, and the loss is another example of sacrifice present for past, but I'm not going to give up on them. I love Nagata and Undertaker. I don't know if they have to retire. I think, Undertaker's pretty much retired. I mean, that's as close to retired as you can get. I don't think anyone needs to retire. I think if you come back, you can't damage the company. I don't think Undertaker needs to retire, but I think Undertaker has to realize and be like, dude, I got to come back, get mine without damaging the country. Damn you, Undertaker! Thanks, Undertaker! The company. So, if Undertaker comes back, because he's pretty much retired. Everyone's like, he should retire. That's as fucking retired as you get, man. What do you want the guy to do? Never show up again? He's probably more retired than the actual retired guys. But, yeah, I think Undertaker, I don't think anyone needs to retire. I just think you need to not damage things. We talked earlier with Rassslin Rantin. If they did this to the Ascension because they're already fucked, I don't think anyone bats an eye that Undertaker returned. I think it's when you come back and you ruin stuff, because pretty much Undertaker comes back, ruins Bray Wyatt. Undertaker comes back, ruins this. But if he just stays retired and shows up and doesn't damage anything, then yeah, fuck it, let him show up forever. I mean, obviously people in Atlanta love him, people around the world love him, but you know, if you can't hold your own in the ring, where I think Nagata is in a different ball game, I think he totally holds his own in the ring. He's old as fuck, but he can hold his own in the ring. I think Undertaker is one of those guys that he looks like he can't hold his own in the ring, but every now and then surprises you. So as long as you bring Undertaker back and you don't damage someone that's part of the company now, then I think it's okay. I don't think he has to retire. Because pretty much he is retired. The only problem I have with Undertaker is when he comes back, he's like, oh, we fucked over the Wyatts. It's like, no, fuck over someone that doesn't matter. Because I don't think if you put in anyone against Undertaker and Kane, I don't think it changes. I don't think people are like, I don't think Bray Wyatt added anything to this feud. I think it just hurt Bray Wyatt. No one's went, oh, I'm going to watch Undertaker's 25th anniversary because of Bray Wyatt. I think they did it because they don't know any better. So as far as Undertaker retiring, in my eyes, he is retired. Just when you come back, don't damage shit.
I don't think. Can you imagine Taker coming out saying, "I'm having a retirement match"? Like, for his character, that doesn't make sense. He should have that mystique with his character to the point where he never says he's going to have retirement. He just fades off into the sunset, and which I think that's brilliant because in the end of the day, you know, it would be absolutely ridiculous. Imagine Taker coming out for like a farewell ceremony like they did for Flair and Michaels after WrestleMania. That wouldn't make sense, would it? He would have to break character, and he's never broke character ever. I've never seen him break character. So
he's I don't know if he broke character, but he's bending his character more and more.
Yeah,
he's bending. He's not as serious as he once was.
Yeah, but he isn't going to come out in his like normal gear cutting a promo, is he? He's not going to do that. He's loyal to his character. I think he should just fade in sunset, come back every now and then for a promo or a match if he has to. But I don't think that he should come out and saying I'm having a retirement match. Have the never say never mystique over the Taker. Have him, you know, is he going to have another match at WrestleMania? Is he? It gets people talking still, and that's all that matters.
I think I'm kind of the opposite of that, and I think I heard somebody else talking about this earlier, and it kind of made sense. Is that for the fans though? You don't want to have that kind of like if I'm a fan. I was watching the table, whatever JBL and Stone Cold and all of them. I think they were talking about it. You don't want to have the fans kind of sitting there wondering if he's coming back. As a fan, would want to know that this is the finale. This, as an Undertaker fan for 25 years, if it's going to end, I want to know that it's going to end. I want to know if he's going to end it in Dallas against Sting or Cena or whoever the fuck it is. I want to know. I don't want to think like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like his last match was at WrestleMania 19. Nobody knew it at the time. And we keep going, oh, when's he coming back? When's he coming back? Why is he not coming back? And it's been going on for a long time. I don't want that for Taker. Taker's career, he's a different character. He's more of a storied character, so there should be a beginning and there should be an end to the Undertaker story. And that's just my opinion on it. Because, again, as a fan, I'd want to see this end. I want a storybook for it.
And I understand a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a big Undertaker guy like you guys, but I'm a huge Ric Flair guy, and the ending, being there at WrestleMania 24, and this is the end of the Ric Flair era was amazing. And as a fan of the Undertaker, I imagine you feel the same way. Just, you know, I feel dirty that Ric Flair wrestled in TNA, and this ain't a knock on TNA. It's just, you took away one of the greatest memories. Mm-hmm. You know, and I feel like when I was there, I was like, this is special. This is fucking amazing. I'm going to tell my kids, my grandkids, I was in the arena when Ric Flair fucking retired. You know what I mean? And then, like, now it's, you know, it's, oh, it came back. Like, I don't even, not only that, but, like, I don't think I've even told my kids about Ric Flair. I was like, oh, he's a fucking wrestler. You know what I mean? So, like, I think as a fan, you definitely want to see the ending of a story, and I understand what you're saying. I just think the Undertaker won't be as tight of a spot as Ric Flair was. Because
I think it also continues that lineage of, because Michaels retired Flair, and then Taker retired Michaels, so it only would seem like Taker would retire at WrestleMania. I think that's just, they've set up this nice little thing of retirements, even though Flair screwed it up. But Michaels never came back, thank God. He held to that. You can't top that. So I think they should do that and keep that tradition going of these guys, these legends, really retiring at WrestleMania.
And I always wonder, like, HBK, he's done in interviews. HBK has done interviews where he's like, oh, it's not that bad, he needed money. But I think he's just being polite to someone he respects. I can't see HBK being happy about Ric Flair wrestling in TNA. And like I said, I want to be clear because, oh, God, TNA fans. That's not an attack on TNA. It's just... All right, on the Twitter machine, Bernales Game, you already responded. You walked away. You're like, I got this one on Twitter, Koco. He says, there's no defending Bray Wyatt after tonight or tomorrow night or ever again. # done. And Rassslin Rantin is like, hold on. I'm in the middle of a podcast, but I'm getting on the Twitter machine. And he says, more like no defending WWE booking. Yeah, WWE booking, it's just, they get beat up a lot. I wonder if they get yelled at, though, in, like, meetings.
Oh, of course, Vince. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta be, man. Because the whole thing is, everyone thinks WWE does, like, the athletes are amazing right now. The production's amazing. You know, the marketing is top-notch. You know, WWE does not get props for their marketing. Top-notch. And, like, then you go and everyone's like, oh, but fucking the product sucks. You're like, well, if the product sucks and it's not the athletes... I don't know. I just wonder if they're in denial. Like, we're the greatest to everyone else. If you marketed better, like, is that their style? Or do you think Vince is like, you motherfuckers, did you hear the latest KocoSports podcast?
Do you think
I'm
Vince
just kidding.
I reckon Vince thinks it's good. I honestly do think he enjoys it. I think he's like, oh, that's a great stuff. I honestly think he loves it. He's like, oh, those internet fans don't know what they want. Otherwise, he wouldn't have continued to push Reigns when we constantly say stop. I think he's at the point... Sorry, go ahead. Oh, no, I think he's at the point, like, what made it clear to me was we did the poll on WWE.com with the Cesaro, where he got 37%. And I went up to my step, I said, look, if he owns a decorating business, 37% of your company likes this tile. 18% likes this tile. What are you going to give your customers? He gives 37%. I'm not an idiot. It just doesn't make any sense. So Vince puts the belt on the 18% guy when he could have put it on the 37% guy. It's stupid. He does what he wants to please himself. He doesn't give a fuck about anyone else. He doesn't give a fuck about the fan base, and that's why people are tuning out, because he only gives what he wants to watch. And that's what the writers are doing. The writers aren't there thinking, okay, what does the fans want? No, they're thinking, okay, I want my job. I'm going to give Vince what Vince would like. Simple as that.
I don't think he hates the fans. I honestly don't. I know this is going to be an unpopular decision. And it's just an opinion, just a theory, so don't attack me. I don't think he hates the fans. I think he's overconfident he can win them back. Like, he's like, oh, if we book him this way, he'll love Roman Reigns. We can win these guys. I don't know, I just imagine that's the way it is. And then when it doesn't work, then he blames the fans. You know, I think when he goes into meetings, he's like, we're going to let Roman Reigns be champ. We're going to win people over. I think that's his way of thinking. But the problem is, he's been stuck in that mode for way too long.
Nah, I actually think it's more sinister than that, because you guys ever see the movie They Live? Roddy Piper.
It's one of my favorites, by the way. It's a really good movie.
I really begin to think that WWE has some sort of subliminal thing going in their broadcasting that it goes into your brain. So number one, what it automatically does is makes you not like pro wrestling, so you can't watch any other pro wrestling, which is why we have so many WWE only fans, as opposed to back in the day when you watched all wrestling. And I think it's like, we're going to throw you pyro, we're going to throw you entrances, we're going to throw you music, and tonight, that's what the fans were popping for. Give a shit about what's going on in the ring. We bought tickets to watch a pyro and entrances and shit and catchphrases and ooh that we don't watch the product. And it's like I've talked to people who are WWE only fans, and they cannot watch anything else. I'm like, don't you like wrestling? Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. What were your favorite wrestlers? They're all WWE stars. They don't watch anything. Are you gonna watch Wrestle Kingdom? No. But Dave, well, you guys know, and I hate to throw my man under the bus, but we did the Wrestling Reviewer show last year.
Oh, man. I can't believe you're gonna throw him under the bus. I thought that was secret stuff, but go on.
he's never going to watch
warming
it.
up the bus. Go ahead.
He's never watched it. He's not going to watch this anyway. But I think he stopped doing podcasts. But he was just like, he was announcing the top shows of the year, and he got to G1, and he's like, yeah, because it's just they can't watch it. It's and I think it's something in the brain. I think WWE is promoting signals. This is my Dave conspiracy theory. They have signals just like in They Live that say obey, watch Undertaker, you like Cena, cheer for Roman Reigns. But then some of us who have the sunglasses on, like us on this podcast, go, no, this is hurting my brain. I know, this is bullshit. I don't buy your messaging. I think it really is. I think Vince McMahon is an alien. I
don't think it's that. It's like, I love how, like, you were telling a joke, and I'm like, well, listen, I like where you're going, but I don't think it's that. I just think it's propaganda at its highest level. And I don't mean to pick on LK, but I think it's worked on LK. I think LK grew up in pro wrestling when they wanted to erase ECW. So WWE said, oh, hardcore wrestling isn't wrestling. And I think, like, there's propaganda, because, like, the thing is, when Vince says something, he's like, that's not wrestling. You see trends where people looked at. And, and then also that, but they send out, like, feelers. And, here's the thing when it comes to propaganda. Like, TNA does propaganda, too. They're just not as good at it. When you hear interviews with different employees of the company and they give the same answers, that's most likely propaganda. And I think it's one of those, they have just mastered it. They're like, oh, we're number one. We make the most money, so we're the best. And then you go to a WWE fan, like, have you watched New Japan? They're like, we're number one. We're the best. We make the most money. Well, what does that have to do with you? I don't know. That's why we defend it. You know what I mean? And I just think it's that. And, because you got to remember, before Vince had a shit fit on hardcore wrestling, there wasn't that many people that hated it. It was like Jim Cornette and some guy in Tennessee. They're like, I fucking hate hardcore wrestling. And we're like, all right, whatever, Grandpa. And then all of a sudden, WWE came on and be like, oh, hardcore wrestling's not wrestling. And then, I don't know, maybe ECW fans grew up, maybe, So I just think it's propaganda. I think it's like, oh, well, you can't. And now it doesn't work as much because of the internet, but I think that's what it is. I think it's just very strong propaganda.
I got two things on that. Firstly, I think when you reach the age of 12, 13, 14, make a big decision in your life. Either one, you stop watching wrestling. Two, you say, W is what I've been brought up on. This is all I'm ever going to watch. This is as good as it gets. Or three, you turn the channel over, you watch TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, one of them, and then your life will be good forever. I guarantee you, at the age of 12, the only WWE defenders, the only people who watch WWE, they have not watched a single clip of Ring of Honor. Ever. Period. Also, the reason why I hate deathmatch wrestling, as a young child, brought up on the Benoits, the Angles, the Jerichos, the wrestlers, proper working hard. And then every time I saw the hardcore filth, the stupid hardcore championship bullshit, that just put me off it for life. Okay, seeing, bless his soul, Crash Holly in that stupid bull pit, that put me off for life. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but that's done on purpose. The reason ECW sucks is done on purpose. It's just propaganda at a very high level, and no one gives them credit for the propaganda.
So there were aliens from They Live brainwashing people.
Exactly. Someone will be like, that's the only quote they get from the podcast. Like, do you believe these guys?
So 12, 13, 14-year-olds out there, there is things called Ring of Honor, New Japan, Evolve, Full Impact Pro. Is just watch it. Just give it one. Or even if you're right now, you're listening to this, you've only watched WWE. Just please go to Ring of Honor, go to even TNA is much. Actually, don't go to TNA, please. Oh God, TNA, they're gonna hate me now. Ring of Honor, New Japan. Watch Evolve. Please watch Evolve.
But that's different for your generation though, because Dave grew up first watching Crockett. I think he said he watched NWA first. I grew up first with WWF, and I grew up 1 year of WWF. But then when I would hear from my friends, and I'd see in the wrestling magazines, which is the same thing as looking at the internet now, guys. It was the internet with paper. You'd see like a picture, you'd open it up and see a picture of the Road Warriors, and like, oh, who the hell are they? What wrestling company are they? Oh, there's other wrestling. So I'd then tune in to watch other wrestling. Today, it's not like these kids don't have exposure. It's just as many other companies. Back then it was the AWA, World Class, NWA. Today it's New Japan, Lucha Underground, TNA, Ring of Honor. You have just as many alternatives, but for some reason people aren't, looking on the internet and seeing the Briscoes and going, oh, who the hell are those guys? Oh, what, they wrestle on the Ring of Honor? I've heard of them. I'm going to check it out. It's just not there anymore. I don't know what.
They'll see a picture of a very small building, all due respect, and they'll think that's not wrestling. That's stupid. They're going to be amateur. And when they see great wrestling matches, they won't know it's great because they're so used to watching Roman Reigns and John Cena, and as much I hate to say it, my boy Randy Orton. That's what they're used to. That's what they're used to seeing. So when they see a Timothy Thatcher and Drew Gulak bust their ass in a technical 50-minute classic, they're thinking, what the hell are they doing? That's not wrestling. That's just rolling around technically. Like they don't. It's all mentally, like you said. It's
and not only that, but also like your statistics. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Koco, do New Japan, do other stuff." And if you look at our channel, we've reviewed a lot of different stuff, and number-wise, nothing compares to WWE. So like, it's weird because like our audience will be like, "Yeah, New Japan," and they'll be like, "Oh, well, where's your Raw review?" You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting. I am Mikey will be the first comment when we get back. Let's just do this main event before we get too much into comment time and ranting and raving. Next, we have the WWE World Heavyweight Title Tournament Finals. Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose. I just thought the match was a bit short. Like the spear out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, but obvious for reasons why it was short. Nothing memorable really of the match. They have the confetti, it comes down. I don't know if I would go with the pyro tonight, but that's the choice they wanted. There was a bunch of old people scared. I watch the news, what's going on? But they did it, they had it, Triple H comes down. This didn't go that smooth, but basically Triple H goes to shake hands, and instead he spears Triple H. Sheamus comes down, Brogue kicks him. They get a 3 count. No, they kick out, and I was like, "Holy shit! Is he gonna beat Sheamus too?" I make fun of WWE and being predictable, but when he didn't kick out, there was a bit of me that was like, "What if Roman Reigns beats Sheamus? Roman Reigns haters are gonna fucking go batshit crazy." But it was just a second Brogue kick, a little bit of a tease, just basically like Daniel Bryan with a couple twists, and Sheamus wins the title. He cashes in Money in the Bank, and everyone and their mother predicted it, or at least had that as high percentage of outcome. You had to guess the average fan probably had it up as at least 80% of what could have happened, and it did happen. And it goes off the air. Sheamus is your champion. Rassslin Rantin did mention something that I found to be really intriguing. What the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer is about to drop, and how many more weeks till that drops?
About 2 weeks until I just found this out before we got on live. It's 2 weeks from now. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trailer will drop, coinciding, of course, with The Force Awakens, because everybody's trying to get the trailers out for the new Star Wars movie. So, yeah, we've decided who our world champion is going to be on because of a trailer dropping for a movie.
Yeah, and I did say he would cash in around Ninja Turtles, but I thought it was going to be the actual movie, not the trailer. Because the trailer, like, I don't know, in America, trailers come out, what do you got, about 6 months to a year?
Yeah, the trailers are big shit now. They're like the big thing is when the trailer comes out. It's like they had one on the Monday Night Football for Star Wars. It's a big deal. So.
Yeah. But usually when the trailer hits in America, because I live in Japan, I apologize for not keeping up with this stuff. When a trailer hits in America, that means like 6 months later it's going to come out. Like what's the?
It depends on the movie, but for your big blockbusters, like they're going to come out a couple months ahead of time. More strategic companies, like because there's a Japan trailer of the Star Wars Force Awakens, totally different from the American one, but they dropped it a couple weeks after ours. So it depends on your marketing company, but you do want a couple months for big movies so you can get people talking about it. So WWE is trying to latch on to that by, hey, Sheamus, he's in that movie, he's the champion, WWE, co-branded. That's how the decision is.
My question for you, because you do run a movie channel, plug your movie channel real quick.
Offensive movie reviews. We are right now watching Jessica Jones, which is an absolutely fucking amazing show on Netflix. Everybody needs to watch that show.
Now, here's my question, back to wrestling and movies. You know, and obviously you don't have the answer, so I'm looking for an educated guess here, hypothesis, if you will. Will he keep the title until Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hits theaters?
I doubt it, because Sheamus is not WrestleMania. That's going to be going into next summer, I believe the movie's coming out. They're not going to keep the belt on that long. They got WrestleMania to think of. They're trying to hit the trailer. And whoever the WrestleMania main event's going to be, I'm looking right now, my God, Cena winning the 16th world title at Mania, that's going to happen. I don't think Sheamus is going to keep this belt that long. Maybe he might make it to Royal Rumble.
Gotcha. And a lot of people are predicting that Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. And it could be, you know, a lot of different possibilities. It could be Roman Reigns wins the title back from Sheamus and Cena wins the Rumble. And then that's our main event at WrestleMania. I hate saying it out loud, but 1+1 carry the Kevin Nash scares the shit out of me for Mania. So, all right, let's talk main events. We'll go LK since I asked a lot of movie questions. LK, your thoughts on the main event?
Thank you, Sheamus. It was so predictable, Reigns winning. I hated the fact that he won, and when the confetti came down, I'm thinking, oh, fuck, he's actually won. He's actually won. Let it sink in. He's actually won. He's celebrating. Sheamus comes out, like you said, hits the fucking Brogue Kick. I'm there like, yes, come on, 1-2, he kicks out. I'm thinking, oh, fucking shit. Reigns goes for the spear. I'm literally on my feet thinking, oh, fucking hell, he's going to do it. There's no way he's not going to fucking win. And then Sheamus hits the Brogue Kick, gets the win. But the issue again I have is what out of this makes you want to watch Raw tomorrow? What out of all of that? Is there any questions? No. Okay, maybe Reigns spearing Triple H. Okay, maybe. But that's happened before. Who cares? Like, if anyone is writing this, the hook needs to be made. There was no hook. Why do people want to watch Raw tomorrow? They don't. They just seen a pay-per-view. Okay, I'll wait to watch wrestling for another 3 weeks for the TLC pay-per-view. That's why no one watches Raw anymore, because they can just go pay-per-view to pay-per-view to pay-per-view to pay-per-view, because nothing friggin' happens on Raw, and there's no hook to get you to watch Raw. And in the end of the day, people who said Raw ratings don't matter, that's fucking bullshit. That's why every single week on ProWrestling.me I always post the Raw TV rating, because it fucking matters, because the more people that watch Raw means the more money the advertiser's going to pay WWE, which means the more money they have to spend, and means more network subscriptions. It's just logical thinking. So if you're out there and you're thinking ratings don't matter, please check them out. Check hourly. 3-hour Raws every single week. 600,000 people tune out because it's not enjoyable. Okay, WWE Network subscriptions, those 600,000 people will not be buying the WWE Network. Okay, so that's a fact. And why end a pay-per-view like that? Where's the hook? There isn't one, and it pisses me off. It really does.
And not only, but like they go to the well one too many times. So like this worked with Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Let's do it again, and it's kind of like. It's telling the same story, except this time he'll wear a hat.
But it wasn't even done as well, because the one with Randy Orton and Triple H and Daniel Bryan, that one was actually done well. It was actually kind of a holy shit moment. This one was, I mean, number one, everybody saw it. God, and the problem is here, Reigns not turning heel. You have to. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, "Well, Reigns didn't turn heel, so I guess the fans should be happy about that." I'm like, "No, you shouldn't be happy about that. We do not need another face who's booed by half the audience." In case people don't understand this, your faces are the people the crowd likes. Your heels are the people the crowd don't like. The Rock went through. I think Dave mentioned this on one of his shows for Booms the other week. The Rock sat on Oprah or somebody, and he was talking about how when the fans were booing him.
Don't act like you don't watch Oprah Rassslin Rantin.
I haven't watched Oprah since I was 10 years old. But he was talking about how when the fans were booing him, die Rocky died. Well, okay, let's turn him heel. Let's stop trying to force him to be face. Roman Reigns is still getting booed by about 30 to 40% of the audience where it is. You turn him face, you reignite his career, and then you get the hook LK was talking about. Well, you turn on Ambrose. So what's Ambrose going to do tomorrow night to get back at his buddy? And then you have a whole storyline you can do with that. Number two thing, Sheamus, as I've said constantly on Twitter, Barrett is the worst King of the Ring ever, and Sheamus is the worst and weakest looking Money in the Bank ever. He hasn't won a match in 6 months. He didn't even win the match tonight in the Survivor Series, which they could have done to make him look strong. Why would anybody care about Sheamus being the world champion? What is there to really be interested in? I know you got your TMNT trailer coming out, but God, a little pre-planning. Make Sheamus look strong. Make the Wyatts look strong, and this night would have been a lot better.
Agreed. All right, so there we go, gentlemen. Overall, not a very good pay-per-view. It could have been worse. That's what we should. That's what I think. That sentence right there sums up WWE Survivor Series.
Well, how would have been, Dave?
How
do you think it would have been worse?
Could have been worse.
How would it have been worse, Dave? Because I got this at the bottom of every. This is the worst WWE show of the year for me. So how do you think they could have made this even worse? I can't even imagine.
I'm going to go with the big one. The big factor is, all right. I think Sheamus not cashing in and then acting like Roman Reigns was an underdog. I think that would have made the main event worse.
Yeah.
Undertaker Kane. Now that's as bad as it gets. Yeah, no, I guess just I think because I don't even think Roman Reigns winning would have bothered me, but the whole he's the underdog, what they always go with, would have bugged me. So I guess that's my takeaway. It could have been worse because I don't know. Being an older fan, hearing John Cena always win and then say he's the underdog ate at my soul. So the fact that didn't happen, I was like, it could have been worse. I feel like I voted for president and he's a horrible president, but I'm like, he's not as bad as the last guy. That's how I feel.
I feel that we've supplanted Al Qaeda and now ISIS is growing into John Cena and Roman Reigns as an illusion. So we don't have Al Qaeda anymore of John Cena. So now we're going to put in ISIS as in Roman Reigns. It's the same shit. They are booking him like John Cena. I really, honestly, hoping that this product will be better in the future. I do not want another top face that's shoved down your throat that half the fans hate, and half the fans kind of like just because you tell them to. I don't want that. For once, just do it right. If the fans don't like him, turn him heel. Because we don't. So we boo the person we're supposed to boo. Stop with this tweener heel. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. Your rating sucks. Stop doing the tweener face heel shit. It's not cool. It's not provocative. It's nothing.
All right, so we give it a weak tie to a loss. Please send us live comments. We're about to hit live comment time at KocoSports on Google+, Facebook, whatever, and we'll try to get a live comments. For some reason, some people can hack into YouTube and leave comments. So we'll be reading YouTube comments. How did they hack into it and no one else did? I don't know. But give yourself a Barry Horowitz. We're getting YouTube comments somehow. They're not on the video page, but they're... Anyway, I have no idea how Google and YouTube works. That's the moral of the story. And anyway, so everyone, let's plug something, and then we'll get the comments, and then if you guys are tired, you can tap out. The one thing I'm plugging is something that we're all working on together, and that's ProWrestling.me. We're trying to make a pro wrestling community, and slowly but surely, it's really coming out pretty damn good. We just got to get more and more people there, and I hope to push it hard this month. Wrestling Ranted, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere these days. Well, Wrestling Rantin is on the YouTubes. Let's search for Wrestling Rantin on YouTube. You can check us out. We're doing 10 things you need to know about Raw. We're doing a review of Survivor Series, and we are going to get back to our retrospective series because a lot of people have been asking me to get back to work on that, so I will be.
To be honest with you, that's my favorite thing that you do.
Yeah.
I sit back and, it's like an event. Like, I sit back, get the popcorn, because I have a bad memory. So, like, a lot of times I'll be like, I remember watching that as a kid, and then I actually watch you, and I'm like, I don't remember any of this happening.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on new graphics for the intro, so that takes a while on After Effects when I have time to do it. So it'll be up probably before the end of the year. Also, we're getting to that time of the year, so in the next couple of weeks I will be announcing how people can vote for the year-end awards. I cannot believe it's been a year already, but we will be having those coming up soon. And as Dave mentioned, Offensive Movie Reviews, which is also on YouTube, Offensive Movie Reviews. Right now, I'm sitting through all of the Marvel's Jessica Jones shows on Netflix, so I'm doing reviews in batches because all the episodes are at one time, so check us out there. It's a really good show. You guys should definitely check it out. there's a lot of sex on that show. So if you like sex and hot women and fighting, Jessica Jones, that's the shit for you. So that's it.
Hello, what? Jessica Jones. Got it. Writing it down. All right. Are you tapping out, or are you going to just tap out sometime in the middle of comment time?
Yeah, it's almost 1 here. I think I'm going to tap out so I can go work a real job tomorrow morning.
Oh, real jobs really ruin the internet, sir.
No
All
problem.
right. Thank you for being on today, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Take it easy, Dave, and okay.
All right.
See you later, bye.
Okay, do a quick plug, and can you stay for comment time?
Yeah, it's only 5:56. That's fine. I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm all right. Well, today. Yeah, you can find me on prowrestling.me. Again, click LKVIP at the top of the page. Becoming an LKVIP member for only 50 pence per month. For instance, this week, this is my 9th show. My 9th show this week. That's how many podcasts I've done. I've done a Raw preview. I've done a Raw review. Bucket full of waffles where I talked about the Paris incident for 20 minutes. Evolve 52 review. Main event review. NXT review with pro wrestler Jermaine Johnson from IZW. Also did a, what else did I do? I did a Survivor Series preview. And this is a Survivor Series preview again, because I did 2, one for the VIPs, one for you, and then obviously this the Survivor Series review. So there's plenty of content there if you're wondering where I am. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you just type in LK's Wrestling Reviews on the YouTube, I put up the first 5 to 10 minutes of every show on YouTube for free, just so you can get a feeder and a taster to see what it is.
All right, and some people can comment on YouTube, some people can't. For those that can't, please tweet us at KocoSports. And we'll try to get to as many comments as we can. If we miss your comment, it's not because of anything disrespectful. It's just we skipped it by accident. All right. I am Mikey. Mike Ashman has a long comment here, so we'll try to get through all of it. Hope the gang is having a good night/day outside of Survivor Series. I don't get why people are still an anti-Reigns as champ. It isn't going to happen anyways, LOL. Tonight was the restart button for the product. I don't know about that. I'm not anti-Roman Reigns. I'm anti-Roman Reigns playing the part of John Cena. I just want to make that clear. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I fucking hate Reigns. Anyone but Reigns. Roman Reigns is better than John Cena. And Roman Reigns is even better when he's not playing the part of John Cena. And they still fucked up. How would you all fantasy book the main event finish tonight?
Easy.
I think we talked about this. I would have either had Owens or Ambrose. I'd probably have Owens win just because he's a good heel and the internet loves him. But either I'll fuck it. I'll just go all fantasy because I could see Dean winning it. Dean sells a lot of merchandise too, so like there's a part. But basically Dean or Owens, either one. But I'd probably have Owens come in, and I'd have Dean Ambrose hit Roman Reigns with a chair by accident because of shenanigans. Owens beats him. Owens celebrates, leaves, has 2 titles. Dean Ambrose is like, fuck, I'm out of here. And Triple H comes by and defeated Roman Reigns looks up to Triple H, and Triple H has his hand out. And Roman Reigns doesn't shake his hand, but reaches for his hand and helps him up. And then they walk towards the back. It leaves tons of feuds, tons of questions, and and Sheamus isn't your champion. So that's how I would have fantasy booked. Would you do anything different, or how would you fantasy book?
I booked that exact earlier on in the show. I said I'd do the exact same with Ambrose going to hit Owens with the chair. Owens moves, hits Reigns. Did he do it on purpose? Was it accident? Yeah, questions. There's a hook. Again, talk about the hook that makes you want to watch Raw to find out, which is the whole point of the show.
And I think a lot of people would have been happy with Dean Ambrose winning. It just take away the chair, take away Owens. Dean Ambrose wins, and Triple H is still there to pick him up, and they walk towards the back. It's just, so it would have been one of those, who do you want to be champ more? Plus, it seems like when Dean Ambrose beat John Cena at selling merchandise, he was punished, which doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you sell more merchandise than John Cena? Let's keep you off television in all major feuds. It does, it's like, wow, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm glad I sold so much merchandise. Would you save the Sheamus cash-in? Oh, if I had to do the Sheamus cash-in? You know what? I know this is going to be unpopular, but I would just have Roman Reigns beat him. I mean, if you're going to push Roman Reigns to the moon, why the fuck not? I don't know. I would have begged, borrowed, and pleaded not to have Sheamus cash it in. But but I don't have any booking power. I just podcast. I enjoy the evolution of Undertaker, seeing the fact that he's been active on a major spot for the span of 25 years of life is pretty epic, even if you're not a supernatural fan of the gimmick. Who do you think deserves the possible last Taker match at WrestleMania? Well, it depends on health. Sting, possibly Kane, Bray Wyatt prior to this. You know what I mean? It would have been cool, like, you know, you could have had a storyline where Undertaker was retired, and he's like, no, I'm not coming back. And you want a little attitude error. And Bray Wyatt and his family actually went to his house and started beating him up in front of his wife. You know, he could have went with a little bit of an attitude error storyline, and then you're like, all right, this is our last showdown or something. You know, one of my favorite movie scenes is, I think it's Unforgiven. I apologize if it's not. It's a Western. And he comes out and he says, I'll be your Huckleberry. Like, I think Undertaker needs a finish like that. You know, like he's something epic, something amazing, where, like, he's either defending his family, his wife. And I think Undertaker, you know, has a lot of, like, when I see Undertaker, I don't know why. When I see Undertaker now, and even Undertaker through his careers, I always think Western movies. I know he's supposed to be a horror movie, and I see that, but I always see him as, like, this cowboy in a Western. Well, now he's old. So there's a lot of great Western stories about a cowboy who's too old. And I would steal one of those stories, you know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, you know, fucking I'm here. I know I can't win, but I'm here anyway. And then the old cowboy wins. He gets on his horse, and is he dead? Is he not dead? Oh, who knows? But that's the end of the story. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Shooting themselves. In my opinion, I think the WWE keeps shooting themselves in the foot creative-wise. I see Vince pushing Taker to 30 years before he retires. Possibility, especially considering Vince doesn't like, or can't create new stars. Like, when Undertaker is your big push and John Cena is your big push this late in their careers, you have failed to build stars. That's it, you know, and they failed. Why do you think they need Brock? They just bring truckloads of money to Brock Lesnar. The reason why is because they failed the big stars. Laugh my ass off. I agree with LK and Rassslin Rantin. Okay, I am Mikey. I see how this is fucking going. There's only 3 of us. You could have been like, I disagree with DK, but you're a gentleman about it. It's like, that's a British type insult. Like, I agree with LK and Rassslin Rantin. Well, I see where this is going. The WWE conspiracy is so real. Where does Bray Wyatt go from here? To be honest, the only way to redeem the Wyatts is have Bray target Sheamus and take the gold off. Homie only treating to Vince's Irish roots. Oh, yeah. I don't know if that will even save him. I don't think there is saving him. That's a challenge. Like, if someone said save Bray Wyatt, I'd be like, you know what? Sometimes you just can't save. I can't be everywhere at once. I am like 100% truth. This is why WWE is so negative against the internet, because that is the outlet the alternative companies is so true. Pro Wrest is all presentation. It is just like fast food restaurant. Everyone's brainwashed by the zombies food that is McDonald's. You have to really experience a match or show that gives you the shock factor and keeps you tuned in, i.e. Lucha Underground, or even back in the day when ECW or WCW really pushed the boundaries. Lucky for me in Toronto, Canada, as a kid, my pro wrest schedule was Channel 30, WWE Raw, 9, replay at 12, WCW, Tuesday. Okay, he gives this whole schedule. All right. I love you, I am Mikey, but he was like, and on Channel 64 was the Weather Channel. I love you, I am Mikey. But, all right, let's see. We got some more live comments. Bullet Club Biggs on Google Plus says, good point. I typed it before I think. Taker's basically retired with the exception of the occasional match. Bullet Club Biggs also says, I agree with LK. LK, you're winning. You're winning over the fan base. I'm gonna like break the fourth wall. Not that there is a fourth wall, but when we brought LK on, a lot of fucking people hated you, and now people are like, yeah, LK, woohoo, fuck Dave Koco, and I'm like, oh, it's time to pass the torch. Just kidding. Dun, 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 dun. LK can't make it to any more reviews. I agree with LK. Hardcore / garbage wrestling is not wrestling. Busting each other upside the head with light tubes, barbed wire boards, etc. is not wrestling. It's savagery. And I understand where you're coming from, and I'm not going to disagree with it. But the thing is, it's always a line. People can say that about pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, people could be like, oh, let me just rephrase this. I agree with Dave Koco, or I agree with, Right to Censor. Pro wrestling is not wrestling. Busting each other inside the head with fists, kicks and all that, etc., is not wrestling. It's savagery, so it's just a line. But yeah, I understand a lot of people don't like hardcore wrestling. I only like, I don't know, I like hardcore wrestling to the point of I can go to a live event once every 6 months and I can enjoy an event maybe once a month. You know what I mean? Like, that's my level of hardcore wrestling. And I can't watch bad hardcore wrestling. Like, I watch a lot of wrestling, but if it's bad hardcore wrestling, I can't. Like, it has to be top tier hardcore wrestling for me to be entertained. So, yeah. So that's where I stand. But I did love ECW. On KocoSports.com or KocoSports.net, they have the Survivor Series results up, so check that out. On ProWrestling.me, sign up because that would be awesome. That's our goal. And I agree with you, Dave. I don't know what context that is coming from, but you know what? I like when Andy Papp says he agrees with me. Like, the best part is, it's like, I agree with you, Dave, and you're like, about the part where we should kill babies and make unicorns? Yep, that's the part. That's the part I agree with. We should kill babies to make unicorns. All right, I'm going to refresh. We are 31-4. Not bad, not bad. Thank you. And we got a lot of live views for us. I know bigger channels get a lot more, but for us, it's been a good night. Power Play says, look up TeamSpeak on Google. All right, will do. These are on YouTube. I have no idea how you guys got on YouTube, and some people can't. Rising Return with a Z says, lost. Done with WWE. The show felt like watching glorified Raw show. Yeah. Tuned in the beginning, tuned out after I saw backstage segment with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, because new. And I can't read the rest of that because, yeah, YouTube. I'm sorry, I apologize. You might have had a lot more great points, but for some reason, it's hard to get to our comments. Javier almost says, the pay-per-view was a loss. Nothing makes sense. Well, yeah, I just heard a WWE Defender. Like when you've been listening to WWE Defenders too long, you hear them in the back of your head. I heard a WWE Defender go, give it time. It will make sense. Let the story play out. No, no. This pay-per-view was so bad, even New Day didn't want to be there and left. LOL. Yeah, we're getting a lot of these comments. I've read a lot of these already, but yeah. TJ Amar says, WWE is such a disgraceful company. There's no defending this horrendous-ass product, WWE Defenders. He also goes on, I'm hearing a lot of positive feedback about the tapings for Season 2 of Lucha Underground. I can't wait for Lucha Underground. I'm a big fan of Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground, there's times where pro wrestling kicks you while you're down. ECW, a lot of New Japan, and Lucha Underground. Right now, Lucha Underground is what makes me have hope and continue to be a fan. The second season might live up to the first season. I'm so pumped up. I'm so pumped up, but I'm nervous because the first season was so good. We got 12 more on YouTube. How does TJ Almars? TJ Almars is like, you know what? Fuck you. You can't let me. TJ's like, what? I can't leave comments on YouTube? I'll show you, YouTube. I have no idea why some people can and some people can't, because I can't leave comments and I can't even read the comments. I have to get them directly through my email. That's why, if it's long like this one, I can't get to the end. TJ says, this pay-per-view was such a loss that I couldn't even finish watching this bullshit anymore. So instead, I was watching football, Walking Dead, and some of my other shows. I basically just read results on, I don't know where it's going, but I'm hoping it's KocoSports.net. No, we got to start doing live results on ProWrestling.me. I got to talk to the ProWrestling.me Team Me guys. LB One of a Kind says Season 2 of Lucha coming in January. TNA moving to Pop TV on January 5th. The one thing I like about TNA moving to Pop TV, it's on Tuesday. I like the fact that we're not cramming 70 shows on Wednesday. And ROH coming to Combat TV. Wrestling looking positive right now. 2016 needs to hurry up and come on. # Wrestling Revolution. Yeah, it's a good time for alternatives. It really is. I know I took a break from TNA because of Matt Hardy, and I said to myself, I don't read spoilers. I will start reviewing TNA again if Matt Hardy doesn't win this tournament when the tournament's over. if Matt Hardy wins the tournament, I'm gonna have to extend my leave on TNA. I just can't believe EC3 lost. It broke me inside. TJ says Del Rio looks like he would rather be back on Lucha Underground or AAA or WWE. He looks depressed. Well, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So Destination America dropped both TNA and ROH from their channel. Yeah, but both of them are spinning it. ROH is spinning it that they found a new channel, which the company that owns ROH is that channel, and TNA is trying to spin it like they got a new home. Basically, Destination America didn't want pro wrestling, and TNA and ROH spun it. But either way, it's wrestling on television, so that's a good thing. Just hopefully Matt Hardy doesn't win that title. I almost want to go back to TNA, and it's not because I just hate Matt Hardy, because I don't hate Matt Hardy as much as I hate the Matt Hardy situation. I couldn't review TNA without being that guy who makes fun of fans, and I don't want to be that guy. And the second thing is, sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should check out TNA, because a lot of my online friends, not real life friends, my real life friends hate TNA, but my online friends, a couple of them like TNA. I'm like, maybe I should give it a shot. And then I see Matt Hardy tweet something. I'm just like, you know what? No. I almost watched TNA, and I read this Matt Hardy tweet. And it is propaganda. TNA fans are repeating it. Oh, WWE can have a tournament, but not us. Dude, there's a huge difference between rebooking for an injury and giving Matt Hardy a title at his home fucking town. There's a huge difference. And if you can't see that, that's why it's hard for me to review TNA. If you sit back and go, oh, yeah, WWE has a tournament, oh, we have a tournament, you hate us. No. There's a huge difference between your champ is out and your champ is Fat Hardy. There's a huge difference. And if you can't fucking see that, fuck you. Sorry, man. I didn't want to get negative. This is why I don't review TNA. You see that negative vibe? That would be going on for 40 minutes. So I have to take a break. You know what I mean? I have to. Jessica Jones, sex on TV. Where can I see that? LOL. Best place to hide during zombie apocalypse. Answer: Kim Kardashian's ass. LOL. I'll be there if it happens. All right. I don't know where that's going, but sure. TJ Alvaro says WWE trying desperately to snatch talent from ROH and Lucha Underground. The hunger must be real for WWE. No, it's just the easiest way to ruin your competition when you're rich. You know what I mean? It's like if ESPN does it, Fox News does it, everyone does it. It's just a big company that says, hey, listen, I'm going to pay this guy to come to my company and it'll hurt your company. It's just the way competition works. I don't think they're hungry. I just think they just were like, I want the best wrestlers in the world, and if this also hurts someone, that could be a possible, you know what I mean? So I think it's a rich ways guy of hurting a smaller company. Alberto Del Rio, this is from LB One of a Kind. Alberto Del Rio looks depressed. Yes. Please just tap out and come to Lucha Underground. Yeah, he's got to be sad. You know what it is? I bet you he went to work on. I think it's going to be different. And it's not. Surprise! TJ says the ratings for Raw tomorrow is going to be interesting. I think so. The ratings have been dropping. But here's the thing about the ratings. John Cena is going to come back just in time to after football season comes, and then they're going to spin it as John Cena saved the WWE. Just be prepared. That's happening. NFL season's going to end. Dun, 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 dun. I'm done pretending to be a Marine. Here I am. Oh, look, the ratings went up. Ain't I wonderful? And, people are going to be like, yes, you are. LB One of a Kind says, Undertaker's last official retirement match needs to be Undertaker versus Vampiro and Lucha Underground with Vampiro going over. That would be absolutely amazing, but, it will never happen. Never say never. I think we could say never. TJ almost says, Awesome Kong retiring due to her medical doctor suggestion she does because of her bad back problems getting severe. Yeah, that's just sad because I loved Amazing Kong / Awesome Kong, and it just breaks my heart because, just bad timing. JR being, JR. I don't know. JR. JR's a scumbag. But JR being JR, then she comes to TNA, and then she goes to WWE, and then the pregnancy. It's just, man, Awesome Kong. She's one of my favorite female athletes of all time. And the good thing about Awesome Kong / Amazing Kong is I got to see her from like day one, and it's always special. That's why you should go to your indies. If I could be real talk here, you should go to your indies, your local indies, because it feels. Oh, okay. LK's leaving. You could have said goodbye, LK. Sorry. Yeah. Everyone, check out LK VIP on ProWrestling.me. But yeah, go to your local indie event.
Hey Dave, goodbye. Goodbye. I apologize. Goodbye. You were in a good point, and I didn't want to interrupt you. All right.
It's okay. It's okay. You getting sleepy?
I am getting very sleepy. There's only a certain amount of monsters a guy can take before his heart blows up, and mine's blowing up.
Yeah. All right. Say something wise. Have your last wise words.
If you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton. And with that, I am out of it.
I should have just let you go, sir. I was like, oh, LK didn't say goodbye. We would have been better off. All right. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow night, sir. Or tomorrow morning, whatever the hell time it is in the UK. Anyway, everyone, check out LK VIP at ProWrestling.me. Also, Wrestling Rantin. These guys really help out the channel and the websites and all that. So, and, I know this sounds crazy, but in a competitive world of YouTube and online stuff, you can help each other out and not be dicks and still be successful. Anyway, yeah, if you can, go to indie events, because even if it's just a small indie event, you could see someone and watch their whole career. I got to see Kenny Omega. I got to see AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, so many great wrestlers, Roderick Strong. Started from the bottom, now we're here type situation. And it does feel special, like even though I'm not the biggest of AJ Styles fans, I love him, but there's some bigger AJ Styles fans out there than me. It's special seeing him walk out at Wrestle Kingdom and be like, dude, I saw you wrestle in front of 10 people. And it's really cool. Same thing with Ibushi and all that. Yeah, it's cool. So go see your local indies. And same thing with Awesome Kong. I saw her from the beginning of her career, and she was absolutely amazing. So it's sad that she had to retire. But, you could tell something was bothering her. She lost a step, and, hopefully there's enough money and all that. LB, one of a kind. Best person to shove in front of the zombie apocalypse to save your life? I nominate John Cena for sacrifice. Cena can bury the zombie apocalypse all he wants. I don't care. And then he said more, but I couldn't get to it. All right. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Dennis N. I've already read comments that Cena needs to come back. Of course. Yeah, it's just the hero. Here comes the hero. That's why, with John Cena and Brock Lesnar, this is where WCW would be interesting. Because back in the day, when you lost to Bret Hart, when you lost to Hulk Hogan, when you lost to Macho Man, they weren't coming back. So you actually had to put effort into putting new people over. Here, they're kind of a monopoly, and they're like, oh, yeah, John Cena's gone. Oh, my God, it's not working. Call him up, call him up. Oh, it's not working. Call up Undertaker. And I think that hurts the product. I think you need these guys to have time off. You need to cut the roster. Like, if WWE cut the roster in half, and not a brand split, but like a legit competitor, one of the Jarretts come by and take half the talent. If you randomly took, including main eventers, half the talent from WWE, I think the show would be better. Because there would be we need to get John Cena, we need to get Brock Lesnar. You're like, well, no, they signed with WCW, they signed with Jarrett, they signed with TNA, Global Force, whatever. Then they would have their back to the wall, and they would be doing a lot better. And it would help a lot of people. Javier almost says, I love New Japan Pro Wrestling in ring action. I don't get the stories. This year, the booking has been absolutely horrible, but they're doing... I get to talk to people in New Japan, so this is kind of like inside information. But they're booking it because they worry that the Western culture fans don't realize how big of a star Okada and Tanahashi are. They're booking it because they want the Western culture to renew this story. That's why when I see a New Japan fan, they're like, this story is booked perfectly. And then I go and meet Japan wrestling fans. I'm going with my writing buddy. I'm going with a writing buddy to Wrestle Kingdom, and he's never been to a wrestling event because all my wrestling friends, wrestling fans that are friends, they don't want to go. Japan. He's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, I'll just watch the Nakamura AJ Styles match on television. So I don't know. It's weird how like people on Twitter and YouTube are just online, especially English speaking fans, are like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then Japanese speaking fans are like, no, this is absolutely fucking horrible. Like my wife, she's been to almost every Wrestle Kingdom, and she has no interest in going this year. She's like, I'm good. I'll just spend time with the kids. So yeah, I guess it just depends. I'm sure they'll hype it up last second, but yeah. And I don't like Tanahashi guy either. Don't know why he has to beat everyone. I think that's what the Western culture fans want. That's what they think, and they think they're going to tell a story. And there's people that defend it. They're like, "Oh, it's a perfectly told story." Not really, but all right. So, but I love Tanahashi. I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's in a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer. A great guy. Tanahashi's fucking an amazing person, amazing wrestler. But storyline-wise, you can't help but hate him. He's handed everything. The fuck? All right. Yay. Yeah. But, Tanahashi is basically John Cena if John Cena was a good person and could wrestle. So, that's a... Javier almost says, I also enjoy a lot of Dragon Gate type of action. Me too. Really fast, great high flyers. I love Dragon Gate. Maybe in the future I'll do more Dragon Gate reviews. But right now I'm trying to like slowly but surely build an audience. And usually when I talk Dragon Gate, I lose my audience. So I gotta smooth it in. But yeah, no. Plus it's time factor. I have to manage my time a lot better. Like pay-per-views and Monday Night Raws, besides last Monday Night Raw, I can get my schedules around it, but the New Japan, I gotta get better at this YouTube thing. That's my point. That's why there's no Dragon Gate reviews because I'm not a good YouTuber. I gotta get onto it. Let's see. Boop boop boom. Matt Ponella on Google Plus says, "Hey Coco, I can't lie. I think that I've watched maybe 2 episodes of Raw since football started. It just hasn't interest enough for me to choose it over the NFL." And I understand. I live in Japan, and I don't keep up with sports like I used to. I only watch the Bucks. Did I tell you the Bucks beat the Eagles today? Philadelphia fans, don't dislike it. Come on. If you had a YouTube channel and the Bucks lost to the Eagles, I would still thumbs up your show. Come on, Eagles fans. Let's be mature about this. I tried to keep tabs on what's going on through. It's all that you were live on a paper review. I wanted to check out the show, drop a like, remind you that you're still the best on YouTube. Thank you for the kind words. You're definitely the Floyd Mayweather or Rocky Marciano of this. Keep up the great work, sir. Thank you for the kind words. I really, you know what? I don't know. You're supposed to not say thank you for kind words. But you know what? No. Sometimes it feels good to hear people say nice stuff. Andy Pep says, where did this go? I'm so glad I didn't pay for this pay-per-view. Lucha Underground is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Who would you rather win the TNA World Title, Drew Galloway or Matt Hardy? Because I have a bad feeling that EC3 won't win. Drew Galloway is the best of the worst. I don't think Matt Hardy. I don't understand. The thing that really bothers me about EC3 losing is not just because I'm a huge EC3 fan. It's because he's the sports entertainment total package. If you were going to make a sports entertainer from the ground up, you'd make an EC3. Take that, okay? But TNA, every 5 or 6 weeks, the undercard was rebooted. They just shuffled it up. There was someone new, creative. But they had one solid. You're like, okay, well, Jarrett's in charge now. This guy's in charge. So the undercard was always in shambles. But they had one solid. They had one rock, and that was EC3. And the storyline was built on television in 4 days. And you told such a great, long storyline, and you threw it all away for Matt Hardy at his home. I have nothing positive I could say about that. I know there's TNA fans that will spin it, and you'll but no, I can't review TNA because as of right now, I have nothing positive to say about it. I have to have positives and bads and goods and all that. And not only that, but you let people say, well, what about WWE? WWE has some positives. I know TNA fans don't admit that, but also WWE fans have thicker skin. If you go to a WWE fan and be like, the product fucking sucks, they're like, yeah, I fucking know. But if you go to a TNA fan and you're like, hey, the product fucking sucks, they're like, how dare you? You're a WWE fanboy. All right. So, yeah. I don't know. I cannot watch it knowing that they're just throwing shit on the wall. I hope Pop Television makes it better. I can't blindly defend a product that's not good. And TNA fans and people watching TNA, that's what they want. They don't want you to review TNA. They want you to say TNA is great. And I don't get paid enough to do that at all. So, fuck Philly. Well, fuck the Eagles. Philadelphia's a good city. In a dream world, the EC3 would feud with Rude. That's what I've been saying. That's what I know. I mean, it's just what you're right for the world title, and I agree 100%. All right, people leaving a lot of Randy Orton jokes. You want to make me cry? That's how you make me cry. Let me refresh this. I apologize for any delay. We're 31-6. Not too bad. Not too bad. See, comment time. I like comment time, but comment time always gets us a lot of thumbs downs. Let's see. I am Mikey says, LOL, my bad. I'm going back in time. No problem. I had a moment, Koco. We all do. WWE taking another L as Cesaro is supposedly working with an injured shoulder and surgery could take him out for a couple months. In my opinion, I think major champs and top talent should have less house show bookings to avoid these injuries. I agree with that. I just don't think they should be worked. The roster, WWE's roster is so big, and I'm even throwing John Cena in here. I'm gonna give John Cena a compliment, and Randy Orton, and all that. The WWE roster is so big. There's no way all these guys should be working that hard. There's no way. And all that, but like when they find a guy that the fans like, they'll keep him in a mid card forever. Just like, oh, bust your ass. Oh yeah, someday you'll be a main eventer. I just think they have so much talent that no one should grind that much. Even John Cena. I don't think John Cena should grind that much. Yeah. So avoid these injuries. Give the young talent more time to work the live crowd. And I agree with that, 127%. LB one of a kind. New Day and Sami Zayn and Kenta go to ROH. Del Rio and Lucha Dragons go to Lucha Underground. And Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler go to TNA. If they do this, they'd all be used better. Also, side note, and I don't know what your side note is because I was about to blame TNA. Now I got TNA on the brain because YouTube cut me off. LB says Sami Zayn the main event while Owens and Baylor are jobbers in my eyes. Yeah, I like Sami Zayn. I like Baylor. I don't think they're jobbers. I don't think so. I mean, some people hate them. No, I disagree with that. But Sami Zayn is amazing. Ricochet has been great all year and every promotion getting over. Ricochet's always been great. Ricochet was just born great. Ricochet is the fucking greatest human being to walk planet Earth. There, I said it. LB one of a kind. I think the person who's going to win the TNA world title will be Drew Galloway. Shera, EC3, or Lashley. I don't think Bobby Roode is going to win the title because he's the current King of the Mountain champion, unless they're going to combine the titles. But yeah, I don't keep up with TNA. I don't. When Matt Hardy won the title and I saw how TNA fans acted, I was just like, dude, I got to take a break. Javier almost. I just rewatched the PWG. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I got to watch PWG. That's my biggest, darkest secret. I don't watch PWG. I just rewatched the PWG Battle of Los Angeles 2015 pay-per-view. Amazing show. Awesome wrestlers and an incredible final match with Chris Hero versus Zack Sabre Jr. versus Mikey Speedball Bailey. Sweet. Yeah, I heard nothing but good things about Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is such weird because I watch a match, like especially if Roderick Strong's there, I'll watch a Roderick Strong match and all that. And I catch matches every now and then, but I've never sat down and watched Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And it's always been the most embarrassing thing because I'm like, oh man, you should check out Indies, and I do, but I don't know. Maybe I'd have to. Would anyone be interested in me watching Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and like have a noob review it? Be like the noob review. First time watching Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. I mean, I've seen Pro Wrestling Guerrilla matches. I've just never seen a full event. And yeah. I'm embarrassed of that. I just shared my biggest, darkest wrestling secret. All right, I think that's it, folks. I think that's it. Oh, no, Andy Paps. I haven't watched TNA in almost a month. Yeah, me neither. I just can't. The negative vibes are way too high on it for me. All right, 31-5. We lost the thumbs down. Must be an Eagles fan. Appreciate it. All right, boom, boom, boom. Last comment of the night. LB, does anyone know if Sexy Star and Prince Puma are still in Lucha Underground? I believe Sexy Star is. I know Prince Puma has signed a 5-year deal. So, Prince Puma will definitely be there. Sexy Star, I imagine, but I haven't read anything. I don't see why not. As far as Lucha Underground goes, I haven't read spoilers or anything, but I hope they don't lose anyone. I'm okay with them losing W. I'm okay with them if they lost John Morrison. But I hope they don't lose any of the main guys that we fell in love with. And I just hope it's as good, even if it's just a little bit worse. I really enjoy Lucha Underground products. If you get a chance, I think they're all up on YouTube. If you get a chance, you should definitely check it out. It's different, and that's why I like it a lot. It's different and it's good. And they take risks, but they take calculated risks. I don't know. I like Lucha Underground a lot. All right. So please like, comment, subscribe. Check out KocoSports.net and KocoSports.com. I doubt he's watching, but for those that don't know, little story here. My health isn't very good. About 3, 4, 5 years ago, about 3 to 5 years ago, my health was really bad. Like, oh, fuck, I can't do shit anymore. Bad. And I was going to shut down Koco Sports. And Pablo and Jerry said, oh, no, we'll take over. Don't worry, Dave. And, it's hard, health-wise to give up. Like, I own a lot of companies, but I had to give them up and let people run them because running a company, even as small as Koco Sports, day-to-day, catches up with you. And Koco Sports this month, in the month of November, is the most successful we had making money-wise. So I want to thank Jerry because, A, I'm a huge pain in the ass, and B, he really runs the day-to-day of the site, and it's a huge, huge, huge thing for us. So we really appreciate it, and hopefully we keep growing. We do marketing and we do a lot of things, printing, marketing, and all that, and that's where the money comes in. But I also want it to be a really good news site, and hopefully in the future we can get all of the company clicking on the same page. But I just want to congratulate Jerry just because, if it wasn't for Jerry and Pablo, I wouldn't be doing anything. I would, I was checked out, dude. I was in a bad place health-wise. And I'm not perfect now, but I'm in a lot better place than I was 3 to 5 years ago when I handed almost all my companies over to right-hand man. And I'm a little hard on Jerry, but Jerry did something amazing, so I got to give him props. So I appreciate it. Thank you. And so check out KocoSports.net. Thank Jerry. We usually tell Jerry to fuck off because I'm an asshole, but yeah, thank him. He worked hard. So Pablo too. Pablo at Multicolor Media. Check them out. They're great guys and not only business partners but friends. When you can't run a company, you find out who your real friends are. And sometimes it takes being sick to find out who your real friends are. So I appreciate it. Now, granted, I guarantee you 24 to 48 hours I'll be yelling at Jerry again because I'm an asshole. But so let's have this moment. Thanks, Jerry. I really appreciate it. Also, we're launching ProWrestling.me, and hopefully that can become something great. We want to build a community that's just pro wrestling, not politics, not news, just pro wrestling. And we want to help each other out. We want to help out other podcasters because it's weird how, I do a YouTube channel. I'm not going to help someone else out. I kind of want to help everyone out. I just want to grow a community again. I'm a bit hippie like that. All right, so please like, comment, subscribe. I will be back for Monday Night Raw review. Maybe I'll have a friend or two. And thank you for live viewers that made it this far, and thank you for those who left live comments. And there's a lot of live comments sneaking in. The big star of the second season, Pentagon Jr. He did a great job on season 1. He did an amazing job. I loved it. I loved it all the way. And dear internet, don't give me spoilers to Lucha Underground. I'm anti-spoiler, and I want to enjoy it. All right. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. KocoSports.net. Thank you, Jerry. ProWrestling.me. Thank you, Internet Infantry Community. And be back tomorrow with that. Oh, and also check out Koco Plays. I have a Let's Play channel that no one watches. It's kind of depressing. I'm not that famous, but I thought, a couple of my subscribers would head over. No one did. Except the Moon and a couple other guys. But yeah, Koco plays on YouTube. With that, I am over.